off. And that was a Millwall team with Dennis Wise, Tim Cahill, Neil Harris, who's now manager again at Millwall. And you know what Neil Harris is trying to do now is re-establish that siege mentality, that Millwall spirit, isn't it, which was so prevalent in that year.
Absolutely. Neil Harris is as blue-blooded a Millwall person as Gary is red and white-blooded a Sunderland person. You know, he's club legend for what he did there as a footballer, what he's done there as a manager. He's come back now. He's trying to re-establish that sort of Millwall identity. As you said, partly that encompasses a sort of siege mentality, a sort of no one likes us, we don't care kind of attitude that Millwall seem to style themselves on. And he's probably the right man for the job at Millwall. There'll be difficult opposition for Sunderland this afternoon. Obviously, we're looking to build on the couple of 3 good results we've had, particularly the last 2 away results. But it'll be a difficult game, and particularly going into it without Dan Neil, of course. Yes,
Dan Neil, we'll get this clarified after the game, but it appears that he may have an ankle injury, which is going to keep him out for the last couple of games of the season. Real blow, actually, because Dan's one of those. He seems, you know, he's gone the whole season without an injury. He's one of those that, like Trey Hume, and unfortunately Trey Hume's ill this afternoon, although he's on the bench. Just seemed to be very rigorous.
There's a number of players who are good candidates for the club's Player of the Season award, and that comes up. There's a very special evening on the 2nd of May. I think tickets are still available for that. People want to look into it. There's a lot of, and I wouldn't argue with several people winning the Player of the Year award, but for me, Dan Neil would get my vote. In fact, Dan Neil has got my vote. I have voted for him. I think he's been consistent. I think he's been outstanding. I think he's really enhanced what was already a good reputation at the beginning of this season, and he'll be a big miss. But I just hope that, you know, the injury that Dan seems to have is completely cleared up, and he's raring to go at the beginning of next season. You know, we just talked about Neil Harris being Millwall through and through, and Gary being Sunderland through and through. Well, obviously, Dan's come through the academy. We all know he's a big Sunderland supporter. You can see that every time he pulls the shirt on, and we can only wish him well. But he's had a terrific season. Dan Neil will hopefully see him fit and well sooner rather than later. Dan has got to shoot off here. He's in demand. He's required downstairs. See you later, Gary.
And so come back, because I need you before 3.
Yeah, after this big talk of 1,000 games, Dan, you can't stick on 999. You need to come back.
I want you back. So see you shortly. Between you and I, he's off to get a shirt presentation for his 1,000th game. Rob, one thing I also wanted to talk to you before you depart. Sad news yesterday that Leighton James has passed away.
Yeah, as I say, I went over to the academy this morning to watch the 18s play Liverpool, and as I walked into the academy, some of the academy staff told me that Leighton James had died, and I hadn't seen that yesterday with me being away. What a terrific player he was. People will remember him at Sunderland. I first saw him at Sunderland, I think it was 1970, playing for Burnley youth team in a cup final at Roker Park, in which he scored the only goal of the game against Trevor Swinburne. And by then he was already in the Burnley first team, but he was playing in this cup final for the youths. He was a terrific player. He was a very feisty player. You know, as many a game I saw him play against Sunderland for Burnley or Derby County or whoever, and he would really wind up the Sunderland fans. And then he came to Sunderland as a veteran under Alan Durbin, fellow Welshman, in the early 80s. And although he'd lost all of his pace, and a boy at one time could he shift, he'd like a greyhound, he'd lost all of his pace, but he'd lost none of his ability. And in all the years I've watched Sunderland play, I've never seen anybody cross a ball better than Leighton James. His delivery of the ball for a centre forward across from Leighton James was an invitation to just put it in the back of the net. He was a superb player. I last spoke to Leighton probably 3 or 4 years ago on the phone. I haven't seen him for many years, but I've spoken to him on the phone from time to time, and he was always very passionate about his football, very passionate about everything, very opinionated about everything. But there's not many footballers, in fact, Sunderland players. In fact, I can only think of one other, who was Derek Weddle, a lesser known name but a great bloke. I can only think of the two of them who went on from their post-football games to be a lollipop man. And Leighton went on to become a lollipop man. I think it was his nephew's or his grandson's school, and managed to win himself a Lollipop Man of the Year award in Wales, because Leighton James never did anything by halves. Whether it was on the field or off the field, he was a full-on character. He's lived a great life, he'll be very fondly remembered by those that saw him play, particularly if you saw him play for your team and he was on your side, rather than being an opponent winding you up by being A, a worky ticket, and B, an absolutely brilliant footballer.
Well, another legendary player. And just before you go, it's worth mentioning again, fingers crossed today, there'll be applause after 3 minutes for Frieda Royston, who we spoke about last weekend.
Absolutely.
So that hopefully will come to pass as well this afternoon. Rob,
thanks a lot, Nick.
Thank you very much indeed, as ever. Rob
Cheers,
Mason,
all the best.
Club historian. I'm keeping an eye out now for Benno pitchside. I think Mike Dods is going to present him with a shirt to represent his 1,000 games commentating for BBC Radio Newcastle on Sunderland. In fact, there he is now at the end of the tunnel. Mike Dods holding up the Sunderland shirt, and Benno being presented with that for 1,000 games. Sunderland, 2 changes. Elise comes in for Hume, who's on the bench, and Dak comes in for Dan Neil, who we were just discussing a few moments ago. 2 changes too for Millwall. George Honeyman is one of those 2 changes. He comes in for Romain Esse on the right-hand side of midfield. We'll hear from Mel Ray, Mike Dodds and Neil Harris before kick-off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. But there's been plenty happening. We've mentioned Gateshead, Leicester City have been playing as well. Plenty to come, rounding everything up, as well as Durham at Worcestershire in the county championship. And with all of that and everything else that's going on, here's Dominic James.
Nick and Gary, thank you very much for the moment. We'll head back to the Stadium of Light shortly to continue build-up then to Sunderland versus Millwall. As Nick mentioned, a few early kickoffs today. Also in the Championship today, Leicester are currently beating West Brom 2-1. We're into the 4th minute of added-on time there. The Scottish Cup today, it's a semi-final as well. Celtic are currently beating Aberdeen 2-1. We're in the 88th minute there. We'll come back to those towards the end of my little segment here to give you the full-time scores. But our first commentary game this weekend was at the International Stadium, the National League. Gateshead versus Bromley, a game which would decide who Gateshead would play in the playoffs. Matthew Raisbeck and Paul Dixon were on commentary duty for us, and Reza joins me now. Reza, they're going to play Solihull now, but they had to fight back to get their win over Bromley today.
They did, Dom. Yeah, Gateshead have won by 2-1. It was an early kick-off. All the final day National League matches started at 12:15, so it's all done and dusted. And Gateshead, courtesy of that 2-1 victory, finished 6th in the table.
How you doing, guys? I've just knocked the commentary off at the moment because of the music in the background YouTube will pick up on. Dak is starting and Hume is on the bench. Hey Stu, how you doing, mate, from Melbourne, Australia? What's the lineup for today? I will check it out. Hello, Peter Wynn. Lee, Catmull. Why is Daniel on the bench? And Dak replace him? I really don't know. Yeah, I'm back on mute. Back off on mute. Yeah, I've just seen the team lineup now. I think that's pretty bad. Oh, no way. Ballard. If you wonder why I've got it on mute, it's just because of the fact there's a lot of music playing in the stadium in the background. YouTube will pick it up. Yes. How old? I cheers, Alan. Hope you're liking the thingy, the backdrop.
Commentator Martin Emerson.
Just move the
Martin
commentary
Emerson
back up a
in
little bit now the
You
music
can,
stopped.
Get us up to speed.
Yes, it's been a decent day from a Durham point of view.
Yeah, it's lovely and sunny
Worcestershire
outside
out
today.
this
The
morning
kids are
for
having a garden party.
184. They had
There's a
them
few of
9
them
down on the
Bluetooth
cusp
speaker.
of lunch, so the
It's
umpires
music
allowed the
blasting
extra
out,
half hour, which is effectively
I'll be
8
putting it
overs
on
to try and
mute.
get the job done there and then,
Because
and they managed
YouTube
to
will
do
say
it in
thank you
5
very
and a half.
much.
So good work from them. Nathan Smith, the man not out in the end on 33. Adam Finch, the last man to go. LBW
Oh,
to 18. But the crucial 2 wickets really of that period. Jason Holder, the West
It's
Indian
so nice to
batsman,
see
was
the
on
sun out
18
though.
when he was bowled by Ben Rain. And then Jake Libby, the key batsman, on 61 when he left a ball from Paul Coughlin, which rattled into his stumps. There was also a little bit of fortune in a ball which saw Josh Baker out. Bowled by Baz Deleda. It was a short ball with a bit of extra bounce in it, and it took the batsman by surprise, ricocheted off his helmet and down onto the stumps. So Durham bowling, Worcestershire out for 184, a lead of 60. But then not the best of starts, because in the very early exchanges of their second innings, their opener Alex Lees got himself out at the end of the second over, and he edged the ball from Nathan Smith to Jason Holder in the slips and was absolutely furious with himself. He was on 4 at the time. He was out in the first innings for 6, and he wafted his bat furiously towards the stumps, then swung it in anger again as he was walking off. But Durham since then have moved on, and they are now in their second innings. They lead by 83 runs with 9 wickets remaining at 23 for 1. So Scott Borthwick, the skipper, is on 5, and Colin Ackerman at the other end on 10. A reminder, Worcestershire having to play in Kidderminster because they've had 8 floods at New Road.
Yeah, Mike says I
during the
wouldn't have
winter,
started
they'll
Job.
be
He
playing
needs a
Somerset
rest.
here in the
Aaron
next game as well,
Curl,
but
guessing
possibly
rumours
not.
of nail
So,
injury
Durham
are
have only played here
true.
once before. That was
Will
in
it be Job in the
2001,
middle of
and they
Ecuador
won
or
that
Dak
by
with
7
one up
wickets.
front?
Martin Emerson, thank you very much. A healthy lead then for Durham in their second innings. Hopefully they can keep that going. Ball by ball commentary, of course, available on the BBC Sport website and app. Back to some of those big non-league games. Paul Dixon, our non-league expert, is in transit to Croft Park now. Blythe Spartans versus Brackley. Spartans need to win to ensure survival, though if Barnsley Celtic lose, they are safe regardless. And earlier this week I had a chat with
What's
the
my
Blythe manager,
prediction
John Shaw.
today?
No, we've got
I
a
don't
very
know,
tough
it's a funny
fixture
one,
in
innit?
Brackley, who are up there and unbeaten in a long time. But if we get the right result, if we play the way we know we can, we'll be okay at the end of it. Look, it's been a tough few weeks. We got ourselves on a good little run a few weeks ago, and then we lost 8 players to injury within 10 days. And
what's your prediction today, Anth? Are you going for
wins?
We'll look at that squad. Is
people have been working
are Millwall
extremely hard,
safe or not?
But the results do have obviously an effect on confidence. That said, the lads that are fit and the lads that are ready to play at the weekend, good attitude, exactly the kind of people you want in the trenches going into the final game when you need something. Hopefully for them more than myself, for them and the fans, for the club, that
I'm going to go for 1-1 today.
A draw. Being on the right side of it and staying up will be a great feeling for him, and hopefully that'll be the case in their performance. The fans have been really good with us. They've been excellent for so long. Every now and again we've had a little bit
yes, I'm going 1-1, Mike.
Imagine turning up every week and
GT top plaster's working behind an empty house. Haha, up the Mackems. Enjoy, mate.
At the end of the game, the fans were there cheering the lads off.
Oh, you're not working as a plaster, somebody behind. Viv 73, hi, Cabby on holiday in Madeira. I'm listening in. Thank you. And it looks like you've brought some sunny weather to Madeira, from Madeira to here as well. Sent it over.
As we can there, to create an atmosphere that these boys really, and they'll play regardless, but the atmosphere, let's hope that they can be that 12th man and really get us over that line.
That is the Blythe manager, John Shaw, there, speaking ahead of their game with Brackley. Spartans need to win today then to ensure survival. That if Barnsley Celtic lose, then they are safe regardless. They're away to Buxton. South Shields, though, they need a result and hope for favours elsewhere if they are to get into the National League North playoffs. South Shields are against Southport today. Few permutations with this one. So for 8th place Shields, they need to get a result against... Yeah, let's just quickly run through this because it can get a bit complicated. So South Shields, who are currently 8th, need 10th place Hereford to get a result at home to 7th placed Boston. If Boston draw, South Shields then need a win. If they lose, Shields may only need a draw. That's only, however, if Kings Lynn, who are 17, get a result against Spennymoor, who are just behind South Shields in 9th. Curzon Ashton, who are 6th. They could still drop out too, but that's only... but they only need a point to secure their place in the playoffs. They're away to bottom of the table, Bishop Stortford. So... lots of permutations for South Shields, but their best chances is if they get a win. And earlier this week, I had a chat to the South Shields head coach, Elliot Dickman, who says they will be monitoring the other games.
We'll certainly have an eye on what is happening, so we're aware of the situation. So, we are prepared for what it may look like if different scenarios are thrown in our sort of path on Saturday. So, that's something that we need to be ready for. So we will have an eye, but at the same time, the whole focus will be on for the players and probably myself in terms of the game on Saturday and making sure that we've got to win and we've got to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get that result on Saturday. The fans at home have been brilliant, and like you said, we don't want it to be our last game. We want to win. We want to continue the season. We want to give ourselves hopefully an opportunity to play some more football and be in contention to try to get promoted.
That's the South Shields head coach Elliot Dickman there, speaking ahead of their big game against Southport at the First Cloud Arena this afternoon. A big afternoon for them. Hopefully they can get over the line and get into the playoffs. Elsewhere, non-league wise today in the NPL Premier, Morpeth are away to Ilkeston. In the East Division, Ashington are away to Liversedge. Dunstan are at home to Winterton Rangers. Consett are away to Carlton. Hebburn Town, they're at home to Belper. If Hebburn win and Stockton lose, Hebburn could win the title this afternoon. In the Scottish Lowland League, Berwick Rangers are at home to Albion Rovers. The local football roundup will be a little bit earlier this evening. We'll do that at 20 to 6 this evening because of everything that's going on today. There'll be lots of reaction to all of today's results. Tomorrow in the Women's Championship, Sunderland are at home to Charlton. A big game for them, must-win game for them, you would feel, if they are to keep their hopes of getting promoted to the WSL alive. Nick will preview that one game shortly. He's been talking to Mel Ray, the Sunderland head coach. Durham, they are away to Reading at 12 o'clock. And the Women's National League, Newcastle United are away to Halifax. Moving to Rugby Union then, and tomorrow the Newcastle Falcons, they're away to the Bristol Bears. We'll have commentary of that one online via the BBC Sport website. And that with Dean Gray, the Falcons consultant director of Rugby, Steve Diamond, has been setting out what he hopes from the game and the remaining games this season.
Well, they don't kick the ball off the field often, so they keep it alive. So we've got to make sure we can retain and keep the high ball. They have got some very powerful runners, certainly in the backs. They do play like a Will 15, Harlem Globetrotter type ball everywhere. And they do score an average of 5 or 6 tries. So we know we've got to score tries to stay in there. We've got to make sure our basics are right, if I'm honest, and bring it into an arm wrestle. Equally, when we have the ball, we've got to make sure that we attack their wide channels where they're not classically great at defending, and we stand a chance of being in the game. As long as we're within 5 to 6 points with 10-15 minutes to go, I think we'll be combative and we have a chance of winning. So I want that to happen. I'd be disappointed if that doesn't happen. And then we've got 2 home fixtures, Sale and Bath, with a week in between. And I will be expecting to get our first win.
That is the Newcastle Falcons consultant director of Rugby, Steve Diamond. He was talking ahead of the game with Bristol Bears. Tomorrow it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. We'll have commentary online tomorrow via the BBC Sport website and app. And in the Women's Six Nations today, England are at home to Ireland. That one got underway about 25 minutes ago now, and at 26-0 up in that game there. In Rugby League, tomorrow Newcastle Thunder are at home to Keighley. That one gets underway at 3 o'clock at Kingston Park. And in Snooker, it's the World Championships. They got underway at the Crucible today. Wolseley's Gary Wilson not in action until Monday. He plays Stuart Bingham. Wilson previewed his opening tie on Total Sport earlier this week with Simon Pride.
They're all great players, and to be honest, I didn't really mind who I got. I wasn't favouring anyone over anyone else. So, yeah, obviously Stuart's a fantastic player. He's won it before. So, yeah, as I say, same as anyone else who I could have drawn, to be honest. They're all tough games.
Was there anyone, though, that when you were listening to it, you were thinking, I hope I avoid them, or anyone in particular that you actually would have liked to have drawn?
No, as I say, sorry, lad, completely boring answer. Just literally did not care who I played because,
fair enough.
As I say, they're all great players, and it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. How have you been playing leading into the tournament?
Not too bad. I've been obviously practicing hard leading up to it, so yeah, playing not too bad in practice. Hoping just to go down and just feel confident and prepared, and that's all you can ask for, really, I guess.
Do you treat this one, the big one, any differently to any other tournament?
I mean, I try to treat everything as important as I can, all the tournaments, but I suppose there is always that little bit in your head it's hard to say treating it any different. As I say, I prepare the same for every event, but there's that little bit more on it, of course, and especially now, I think for me, I've noticed when the draws come out, like this morning, once you know who you're playing, it just seems to be that little added bit of like, right, okay, let's really get ready now kind of thing. Yeah, it's not really much up until then, but when the draw's done and there's only a couple of days to go, that's when you really start thinking to yourself, like, come on, we're involved now. Like, let's get prepared as best we can.
Gary Wilson talking to Simon Pride there ahead of his first round World Championship match at the Crucible on Monday. They're talking on Total Sport. Basketball in the BBL Championship last night, the Newcastle Eagles, they beat the Cheshire Phoenix by 104 points to 89. They're back in action today against the Manchester Giants. That one though tips off at 5:30 in the WBBL Championship this afternoon. The Durham Palatinate, they are away to the Manchester Giants. That one tipped off at 2 o'clock, and after the second period, the Palatinates lead by 42 points to 37. And then at 3:15 today, the Newcastle Eagles women's side are away to the Cardiff Met Archers. In darts, and it's the fourth PDC European Tour event of the season in Germany today. Bedlington's Chris Dobie is just about to get his second round game underway against Johnny Clayton. Just quickly then, before we head back to the Stadium of Light, just a quick recap on some of the other games that are going on in the Championship. The early kickoff, Leicester beat West Brom by 2-1. We're in extra time then for the Scottish Cup semi-final. Celtic and Aberdeen 2-2 as it stands. We'll keep you up to date on that one throughout the afternoon here on BBC Radio Newcastle. And of course, a reminder, it's the FA Cup semi-final today. Manchester City take on Chelsea. That one kicks off at 5:30 this evening. Time then to head back to the Stadium of Light then to continue build-up to Sunderland versus Millwall in the Championship in the company of Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
On BBC iPlayer.
66 million years ago, an asteroid was on a direct collision course with the Earth. Out of the darkness that followed emerged a group that went on to dominate the world.
Mammals with David Attenborough.
In this series, we'll reveal the secrets behind their success.
It's a sperm whale.
Wow! And the challenges they now face in a world dominated by the most successful mammal of all, us.
Look at that!
Mammals. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Just over a quarter of an hour away from kickoff at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland, Patterson in goal, Ballard 09 and Elise is the back three. Pembele and Styles the wing backs, Eckwood and Jobe in midfield, Rigg, Dack and Clark front three. The club has confirmed Dan Neil has an ankle injury which will rule him out for the rest of the season. Patrick Roberts not on the bench, his partner's given birth, so congratulations to Patrick and his family. Some good news for Patrick. So the bench is Bishop, Evans, Hamir, Burstow, Mundell, Barr, Aushish, Hjelde and Hume. Millwall, Sarkic in goal, back four of Leonard, Tanganga, Cooper and McNamara, Honeyman, Denor, Saville, Longman, Fleming and Obafemi. It's George Saville. I was going to call him Seville there because of Denor.
Seville.
I thought, oh yeah, it's Saville, obviously. Their bench is Bielkowski, Hutchinson, Nisbet, Bradshaw, Mayer, Norton Cuffey, who is on loan from Arsenal. Romain Esse, Wes Harding and Duncan Watmore is on the bench as well for Millwall, who have won their last two. They beat Leicester 1-0 and they beat Cardiff 3-1 last time out. Dom was mentioning Sunderland women. They're at home to Charlton women tomorrow afternoon. They have to win their last two games of the season. The last one is at Crystal Palace on Sunday week. If they win both those games, Sunderland women will be promoted back to the Women's Super League. Nothing like a little bit of pressure then for the Sunderland head coach Mel Ray.
I think the pressures are privileged.
Yeah, it's mad about the Sunderland lasses, isn't it?
I mean, to go on and win two games, and
if they win the league,
they still put ourselves in that position, and we like the feel of it. This is where we want to be, and all we have to do is go and put in a good performance and get a positive result twice, and then we've done it. And it's sometimes easier said than done. We know that, but we're quite relaxed about. They're going to try and see if they can get permission that we're in at the stadium. If the lasses do go. A buzz about the whole building. To be honest, there's lots of people inside, and everyone inside the building who's really excited for the women's team and maybe what we can achieve.
I do agree.
It's all eyes on Charlton.
It just doesn't look like, does it?
We can't
Manchester
slip up,
City
or
playing
that
Arsenal
might be it done.
like
so we're not speaking about Palace. We're not looking at Palace. The full focus for the last 3 weeks has been Charlton.
Total Sport North East.
Live from the Stadium of Light.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And we will bring you that game live tomorrow afternoon, 1:30. The build-up start. Charlotte Patterson will be one of our commentary team, and 2 o'clock kickoff tomorrow afternoon at Eppleton. Pierre Ekwa and Adji Elise will be there as well, meeting Sunderland fans, signing autographs. Well over 1,000 expected to attend the game. Benno, what an achievement. If Mel Ray does it, fantastic. What a season. Especially bearing in mind, beginning of the season, nobody on the back of last season expected
Nobody expected it, and credit to Mel Ray. How the good thing about it is she's been able to develop young players, bringing them into the team, giving them belief, giving them that, shall we say, opportunity to go and express themselves, and they have done that, and they've grown in confidence, and fingers crossed that they can get over the line.
Yes, one would hope so. Mel Ray was talking about that this week, actually, about the fact that when they got relegated from the Super League last time round, her job became one of developing young players through the regional training centre at Gateshead, through Sunderland now, and then the job she's done in bringing through young players.
Fantastic.
I guess the problem is the issue that Sunderland will have is that they will continually be seen by the other clubs who have money in the Super League as a club from which they can pick off players. Neve Heron being an example, going to Birmingham this season.
Yeah, definitely so. And again, you look at how well she's done, and nobody was expecting the ladies to be in the position what they are. Now what they've got to do is get over the line, and then hopefully they can get that support from the football club, which they will need.
You've been down pitch side. Mike Dods has presented you with a shirt for your 1,000 games.
He did indeed. I had a quiet word with him.
And hopefully this one will stay in your wardrobe, unlike the 1992 kit.
Tracksuits, a Hummel's goal gone. It will for 20 years, and then I'll get rid of it.
So, I'm always told to declutter, but
declutter, yes.
Then you think, well,
how long do you leave it for? Do you declutter after a year, 6 months, 2 years, 5, 10, 15, 20? When? How long?
Well, the thing is, you've got the extension to the mansion for all your awards.
Okay.
So you can hang this shirt in amongst those, can't you?
Right.
You were part of a photo shoot this week for the new Hummel kit.
Yes, indeed. It was very, very good with 3 of the players.
You were the new Nick Kamen.
Nick Kamen. That's it, in the laundrette, removing one's jeans.
Were you stood there in your pants?
No pants.
No pants.
Commando.
Oh my word! And is this all we're going to see? All this? Are we on the?
No.
When the pictures come out.
Be after 9 o'clock, after the watershed.
Well, we look forward to seeing that. Look forward to seeing those
Talk
pictures.
about Netflix.
Hey, who else was there in their commando gear?
Dennis Sirkin, Chris Rigg, and Joby Bellingham.
This is going to bring the internet down, isn't it?
It will do. Don't worry about that.
Honestly,
huh?
This is. You know, you hear about the internet crashing. This is guaranteed now, with the news that you four have been in the laundrette in the Altogether. Look forward to seeing that. I'm told the new kit looks very, very good.
It does.
Excellent.
Kit.
The kit, yes, the kit. I'm not going to go any further than that.
Okay.
Millwall then this afternoon. We talked about Neil Harris on Total Sport last night on Radio Newcastle. Brought back to Millwall at the end of February. Joe Edwards was the manager. It had gone a bit pear-shaped. They'd lost 7 of their last 8 going into the end of February. And so Neil Harris was basically bought out of his contract at Cambridge United, where he was back to the Den. And there's been a turnaround, 3 defeats in the last 10. Ironically, all 3 defeats in Yorkshire, Leeds, Rotherham and Huddersfield. But Neil Harris has been trying to find that Millwall identity that we know all about. We'll have a chat about it in just a minute. But here are the thoughts of Neil Harris since his takeover.
The application on the road's been fantastic. The application, the mentality's been really good. Maybe we need to find a bit of that home spirit. Maybe we need to find that real winning mentality, that clean sheet mentality that we've had at home. Maybe we need to impose ourselves a little bit more on the game. To win at Southampton was a great achievement. But I've said all along, winning there, beating Leicester at home, it's a little bit irrelevant where you win. We just have to get enough points to stay in the division. That's the remit this year. Then move on to next year. But ultimately, we've lost 3 away games. I don't like that. I don't want that to be us. I want the players to build a siege mentality away from home that we have at the Den. We have to do it without the backing of the majority of the fans. So we have to do it ourselves in the change room. And we had the mindset correct against Southampton. We had that siege mentality, and that's what we have to at the stadium like.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Neil Harris then talking about what he's trying to get back at Millwall. It's something I think we know about from your first season as a summariser on Radio Newcastle. After about game 15, that Millwall team of that season, they as I said, were Sunderland's nemesis. They had Dennis Wise, Neil Harris, Tim Cahill, to mention just 3 players. But they really did have an identity. I mean, I sort of said last night on the show, it reminded me of Peter Reid and what he built here with that team that lost the '98 playoff final. But then the following season, he built a team with your Mickey Grays, Kevin Balls, etc., that had that similar sort of robustness, winning mentality, and that's what Neil Harris is trying to get back now at Millwall.
Yeah, it's identity. That's what we're looking at, and I think that's what you know what you're going to get when you go to places like Millwall. Not just as a player, but also as a summariser and commentator, as supporters. You know what you're going in. It's called the Den, and there's a reason why it's called the Den.
And it's funny now. It is now the Den again, isn't it? Yeah. Because for many years it was the New Den, but they've dropped the new, and I think that's all. Subtly, it's all part of that building that, and they do, and they're proud of. Nobody likes us, we don't care.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what you're going into. You are going into the Den. So they're bringing that identity back. And it's just the same, at the Stadium of Light, we're trying to create that identity that, when we talk about that Roker Raw, what you used to have, he's trying to get that feeling into the Stadium of Light. You go to Leeds, you know what you're going in for, you know what the setup is in Leeds, and players who sign for Leeds United, you know what you're buying into. You know it's going to be aggressive. You know that they're going to be in your faces. They're not going to give you a time, and that's what the supporters bring as well. So again, it's building up them identity all around. There's certain clubs that you go to, you know what you're going to get. For instance, Tottenham. You know what Tottenham are. rely on in regards of the good footballing team. You know, that's what they've been known for. So yeah, you know, you go to Wimbledon, long ball, you know what you're going to get. So it's trying to create that identity, and that's one reason why the likes of Neil Harris has come back to Millwall. And don't expect it to be a nice game. Yeah, they can play football, but when they need to, shall we say, mix it, they will.
Which we may see today. We're going to hear from Mike Dods in just a moment. I want to say tomorrow's the London Marathon. Good luck to anybody who's taking part in that. And a special mention, I'm not sure if you'll appreciate me mentioning him, but I want to wish him good luck.
Right, just muting the commentary because the stadium music's coming out, the team music, the Knights of the Round Table or something. Do 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 do. I would like to keep it on to get the atmosphere going, but YouTube will say, naughty MACKEM CABBIE, you can't do that. We'll get you done for copyright. Well, they won't get me done for copyright, but I'll have to do editing to cut the music out, and it's a pain in the backside. There's a few mixed reports about the team news, that the fact it's not the best, but hey, it is what it is, isn't it? Oh, he's Mike Dods chatting now. There's no music. We can turn this back up.
From Gary to Joe, and I don't know Joe, but Joe has a similar type of background to myself, and it didn't quite work out for him. I genuinely feel sometimes you have good fits and bad fits, whether it be head coach or managers at certain football clubs. And I think Millwall would probably highlight that in terms of going from someone that is well respected within the game in terms of a coach in Joe Edwards, and then obviously then appointing, you know, Neil after Joe, who would be very different in terms of the way they approach the game. But Neil's done extremely well in terms of getting the absolute maximum out of what he's got at his disposal. Really well organised, in particular out of possession. Like you said, 4-4-2. Transitions, you know, they're a real threat on transition. A lot of their goals since Neil's come in have been via transitions. As always, they're always a threat from set pieces, Millwall teams. So he's got them really, really well organised. Which gives them, again, like I said previously, gives you a really strong foundation in the games, and he's got two real obvious threats in terms of set pieces and transitions. So results are picked up for them. It's going to be a really difficult game, and we're going to have to make sure we manage all those bits, in particular out of possession. If we do that and we're better with the ball, we give ourselves a chance of doing okay in the game. I do think when you play against a former team, you do somehow, players, they find an extra 5-10% because they want to do well. Both players, I think, suit Millwall in terms of, I think they're really industrious. I think they will leave everything on the pitch, so they're a good fit for that football club. But one thing I do know is, you know, whatever team they do pick, they're going to be really, really hard working. They're going to be really hard to play against, and they will embody all the principles I'm sure the head coach wants to imprint on the team. So whoever they pick, we know what's going to come.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Mike Dods referring there to George Honeyman and Duncan Watmore. George Honeyman has made it. He has had a shoulder injury, but he starts this afternoon for Millwall. Duncan Watmore is on the bench. Good to see down below us Lee Catamol watching the game this afternoon. He was in town last night for a talk-in as the teams led out by referee
teams are just coming out
Anthony
now.
Backhouse this afternoon in his turquoise top. And Millwall being led out by Matica Sarkic, their Montenegrin goalkeeper, who was actually born in Grimsby. His father is a Montenegrin diplomat,
Anthony Backhouse is the
ambassador.
referee, and the last two times he's
so slightly unusual upbringing for Matica Sarkic, the 6'4" Millwall goalkeeper.
Had a penalty from Norwich.
Signed from Wolves last summer as the players walk down the line, shaking hands. Sunderland, of course, in their red and orange tracksuit tops. They'll be wearing their red and white stripes, the black shorts, red socks, and Millwall in their dark blue, white shorts, dark blue socks,
Yeah, I think one thing which we didn't touch upon, Nick, is the lad Cooper. Last season we've seen him. Every opportunity he gets, he'll go forward. He's a big lad. He's what, 6'4", 6'5".
6'6", and I remember down at the Den, every set piece, every free, he was pushed right up.
And that will cause us a problem today. He goes up for everything, and if we don't win the first one, we've got to make sure we pick the second ball up this afternoon.
Yeah, he is unquestionably a big threat to Sunderland, as the show racism, the red card banner is unfurled in the middle of the pitch. You've been part of that today as well. It's all happening for you today.
It's all happening today. There's not enough hours in the day, but no, it's fantastic day today, and I've got to thank the football club for it.
And so 3 games left. Can Sunderland win all 3? Can they keep a clean sheet in all 3? There's certainly still points and achievements to play for.
Just have to mute it again. It's an absolute headache, isn't it, doing this? Falling in love with you.
And having just mentioned Jake Cooper, he's the...
So I will put myself on mute now for the rest of the first half. Enjoy, folks.
As they did the toying course, he's gone back now to join the Millwall huddle in the middle of the half to our right, the Roker end of the stadium. They break from that huddle now, and Sunderland's players taking up their positions in their formation, and Callum Stiles about to get the game underway, with Sunderland attacking the Roker end in the first half this afternoon.
Interesting. Is Callum Stiles playing in the middle?
Well, I think he's going to drift back to the left wing-back position, isn't he?
Bellingham,
yeah, it's definitely dropped back to play alongside Ekwa. As the game underway, just a tap back to Ekwa, who runs on to the ball, plays it back to Elise, and then eventually back from the left wing, Clark, to Anthony Patterson, who's in bright yellow this afternoon, his counterpart in turquoise, as the ball floats down the right wing over Pembele's shoulder. I'm not sure he was entirely aware of where the ball had gone, but it drops out for a throw to Millwall, which Danny McNamara will take. George Honeyman in the starting lineup for Millwall this afternoon following his shoulder injury. The ball hooked on by Zian Fleming. Patterson comes right out of his area, closed down by Michael Obafemi, but he gets the ball away from the Republic of Ireland international, who's on loan from Burnley. It's with Clark, plays it back to Ballard, out to O'Nien, and down the right to Pembele, who's given the ball away here, and Fleming picks it up, plays it back, and if you missed the team news, which I'd certainly read out a good few times this afternoon, it's Patterson in goal, Ballard, O'Nien and Elise. O'Nien's playing on the right of the 3. O'Nien.
And that's what he's going to talk about, Nick. He's just given away a needless free kick there, Dak. What we can't afford to do is giving away silly free kicks, especially around that 18-yard box.
Yeah, O'Nien, I should say, is playing on the right of the 3, Ballard in the middle, Elise on the left. Pembele and Stiles are the wing-backs, Ekwa and Jobe in the middle, Rigg, Dak and Clark are the front 3. It's a free kick to Millwall, which George Saville, the Northern Ireland international, is going to take. The bench is Bishop, Evans, Hamir, Burstow, Mundelbar, Aushish, Hjelde and Hume. And for those who missed the Millwall team, Sarkic in goal, Leonard, Tanganga, Cooper and McNamara the back 4 as Saville swings the free kick into the penalty area. Elise gets his head on it, it drops out to the right wing, and Honeyman brings it down, puts it out to the right touchline, and the ball swung in, bounces through to Patterson, who catches it. Where was I? The middle Romain Assay made way for Honeyman at the start of play. Billy Mitchell made way for Casper De Noor, George Saville and Ryan Longman, and the front 2, Zian Fleming and Michael Obafemi, as Ballard plays the ball out to O'Nien on this right-hand side. Across to the left again, Elise, down the wing to Styles, leaves it for Clark, and then back to Ballard. Forwards and down the right to O'Nien. A firm pass played to Pembele, who cuts in to the middle here, still going. Oh, he drifts through, but then showed a little bit too much of the ball to Tanganga, who hooks the ball away.
That's positive.
Just a reminder, Gateshead beat Bromley this afternoon. They'll play Solihull Moors away on Tuesday night. If they win that, they would then face Barnet away on Saturday night next weekend. Here's O'Nien with a throw halfway inside the Millwall half on the right, 0-0 in the 4th minute of the game. Looking to try and get it down the line to Pembele. It's hooked away by Millwall. They get it clear, but there's a bit of a crush of players around the touchline. Millwall trying to get it forwards. Ekwa from the wide right gets it back to Patterson at the edge of the area. Passes it out to Elise. Then Styles, almost on the halfway line, hugging the touchline. Back to Ballard in the middle of the Sunderland half. Elise, so yeah, pushing it out to Styles again.
Sorry, Nick, the way Sunderland have set up, we really haven't got an out-and-out striker, have we?
No, Dak's a sort of false nine, isn't it? It's played out wide here for Pembele. Tried to flick it in first time, but McNamara clears it into touch. Dak is the central one of the three, really, Rigg and Clark. So no out-and-out front man. Pembele drops it to Ekwa, almost down in the corner. Plays it away from McNamara, swung in by O'Nien, but the cross right into the hands of goalkeeper Sarkic. Has 8 caps for Montenegro. He's waiting for everybody to push on. Wide on the left here is Ryan Longman, just down from Mike Dods. The players drifting towards this left-hand side. And the kick, pretty central actually, bounces away from Obafemi, headed on by O'Nien. Longman and Pembele. Well, Longman won the header, and then Ekwa nods it forwards, but Savills caught again. Another free kick to Millwall on the left side of midfield. George Honeyman with Saville, but Honeyman's going to leave it to George Saville to take the free kick. Sunderland pushing out 20 yards, holding their line at that point. You can hear the Millwall fans at the top of the north stand. And Saville then with his left foot swings the ball in. It's not a bad ball. I think Job was the player who headed it out. A swing of the foot from Denor. Casper Denor sends it behind.
Does it give a free kick?
I think he did. I think I heard the whistle and the flag up from the assistant on the far side. That free kick coming to nothing. Casper Denor, Belgian, signed from OH Leuven in the summer. Patterson then will have a free kick. It's on the left side of the penalty area. Mike Dodd striding about in the technical area. Neil Harris, hands in his tracksuit trouser pockets at the edge of his. The ball headed away by Japhet Tanganga, who's on loan from Tottenham. Picked up by Styles down the left wing. Leaves it for Clark, skips away from the challenge of Honeyman, plays it along the halfway line to Ekwa. Ekwa then pushes it forward a few yards to O'Nien down this right-hand side. Pembele made a run offside, he comes back onside. The ball flicked on past Rigg, and then Millwall looking to counter-attack. Honeyman just lays the ball off down the right wing for Obafemi to run onto. He's got Elise in front of him. He tries to cross, the block from Elise drops and bounces between Styles and Obafemi. Styles gets the ball away to Dak. Dak inside to Job, through the middle to Ekwa, back to Job, and across here to O'Nien. O'Nien out wide then to Pembele, just in front of Mike Dods. And Pembele creeps into the Millwall half, plays it back to O'Nien, and O'Nien plays it across to Elise. Elise has Clark ahead of him. Styles has jogged on into a forward position. Clark skips round Honeyman down the left, trying to push it past.
Oh.
Well, the last man.
Unlucky.
But Leonard did enough, I think, just to check Clark's run, and the ball ran away behind for a goal kick.
Went past George Honeyman as though he wasn't there.
He did, didn't he? Skip round him. And the ball back with Sarkic, the goalkeeper, for the goal kick. He's changing sides of the 6-yard box, jogs to the left side of the 6-yard line. The players follow suit. Dax waving everybody over to this near side. And Sarkic, with his right boot, drives it towards the left, and Job nods it down. It bounces away from Rigg. Cooper puts his foot through it, and it's nodded back by Ballard, who spent, of course, the season on loan at Millwall. Back to Anthony Patterson. Styles and Honeyman collide. The ball goes out. It's a throw. Styles picks himself up, and Elise will take the throw on the far side. Picked up by Ekwa. Now to O'Nien. Wide again to Pembele in the Millwall half. McNamara goes to close him down, plays it back to O'Nien, into the middle to Dan Ballard. Ballard across to Elise. Down the line again to Clark, slips it inside to Ekwa. Ekwa just inside the Millwall half, plays it back into the rear of the centre circle. Ballard to O'Nien, and O'Nien playing it away to the left again to Clark. Clark chests it down to his feet, and then tries to slip it through in the penalty area to Dak. Across comes Tanganga and hooks it away from the goal line, down and out for a throw to Sunderland on the far side. Reminder, we will have full commentary tomorrow afternoon from 2 o'clock, 1:30 the build-up of Sunderland women's critical game against Charlton at Eppleton, as they bid to win promotion back to the Women's Super League. And that commentary will be on DAB and Freeview 719. Benno will be along after 5 as well this afternoon, celebrating his 1,000 games by talking to you. And I shall give you the numbers.
It's going to be at Eppleton
a little bit later. Oh, you can fly there if you like, but I'm sure you'll prefer the comfort of the seat here at the Stadium of Light, as O'Nien drifts through and back to Job, who plays it to Ekwa at the front edge of the centre circle. Styles in the middle, flicks it through, now looking for Pembele. On his shoulder is McNamara to hook it away. It drops to Elise. Elise down the left wing to Clark. Honeyman made one attempt to tackle him, but Clark comes away, brings it inside into the middle, lays it off to O'Nien, who plays it out to the right to Rigg. Back inside to Job. Job trying to find the channel for Dak to run onto, but Cooper is going to just hold off Dak and let the ball run behind for a goal kick. Now what's the referee?
Corner.
Give him the corner.
Yeah.
There must have been a wisp of a touch.
Well, it's come off a Millwall player, and he's tried to shield it out, Annie Cooper.
Yeah, so Sunderland's first corner. Dak's going to take the corner from the right-hand side at the Roker end. Rigg is in the 6-yard box. Everyone else is grouped at the back of the penalty area. Dak then. Ballard makes a dash through the box. Dak swings it across the area. O'Nien heads it back into the 6-yard box. Ballard let for it, but too many Millwall defenders. He then turns it back to Dak, who tries to cross it, but Sarkic managed to stretch and pluck the ball out of the air. Tried to get it away quickly. Is fouled, says the referee. It's going to be a booking for Clark, who didn't let Sarkic make the clearance. Came in the 12th minute. Clark being spoken to by Anthony Backhouse, who's been in charge of 2 Sunderland matches here this season. The 3-1 defeat at Plymouth Argyle, the 3-1 defeat of Norwich City. I wonder if we can get a hat-trick this afternoon.
It's not a good omen.
Sarkic places the ball on the 18-yard line to take the free kick for Millwall. 0-0 in the 13th minute, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. As the kick floats up towards Ballard, Obafemi was backing into him. Clark lays the ball back to Elise, and then Patterson. Cardiff 0, Southampton 1. A big game for Southampton is on Tuesday night. Throw to Sunderland here. Tuesday night when Leicester play Southampton. Southampton could conceivably sneak into an automatic promotion place. It makes it a rather exciting end to the Championship season at the top.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Leicester won today, didn't they?
They did. They beat West Bromwich Albion this afternoon, this lunchtime. As Joe plays the ball down the left wing, Clark just inside the Millwall half. Slips. Fouled by Honeyman, says the referee. Quickly taken free kick. Jobe across to O'Nien. He nods it back here to Ballard. Ballard just taps it to his left to Ekwa. Elise now. As I said earlier, the pair of them, Elise and Ekwa, will be at Eppleton tomorrow, signing autographs, meeting fans at the Sunderland women's game. 2 o'clock kickoff, remember. But live on BBC Radio Newcastle, here's Elise on the halfway line, down the left wing to Clark, tackled by Leonard. Ryan Leonard knocks the ball out into the east stand for a throw to Sunderland.
Not much happening is there in the game?
It's not. It's I wouldn't say it's being played at pedestrian pace, but it's being played at a stately pace, isn't it? Although Sunderland enjoying a lot of possession. Rigg battling his way through here. He's done well. He's shown good feet. He drives a shot at the keeper, straight at Sarkic though.
Unlucky.
But it's brought the crowd alive.
Great feet there by Chris Rigg.
Skipped through, didn't he?
Yeah.
Stuart Curtis, listening in Carlisle, congratulates you on your 1,000 matches, Benno.
Thank you. What we need is a goal from somebody.
We do need a spark.
Yeah.
From someone. Kick from Sarkic. Rigg nearly supplied it, but straight at the goalkeeper. And now here's Ekwa on the touchline, finds Pembele, tackled by Jake Cooper, and the assistant flags for a Millwall throw just down from the Millwall technical area. And Neil Harris, the 46-year-old, in his second spell as manager, he managed for 4 seasons between 2015 and 2019. He also had 2 spells as a player between 1998 and 2004 and 2007 and 2011. A Millwall legend, Neil Harris. Here's George Saville in the middle, George Honeyman, and he's given the ball away to Styles, up to Clark. Clark now on the halfway line. Honeyman tries to get the ball off Clark still has it, plays it inside to Jobe, and Clark looking at the referee, feeling it was a foul. Referee's played the advantage. Here's Rigg in the centre. He's going to try and play it through to Clark. Good ball in the penalty area. Clark onto his right, trying to slip it into Dack. Wonder why he didn't have a pop at it himself then. It's cleared, but comes back to Clark, down the left to Elise, tries to cross, wins the corner from Tanganga.
Good build-up play there by Sunderland.
Sudden burst of energy from Sunderland. And Rigg's been important in both phases.
Excellent play by Rigg again. Good pick out there, picking out Clark.
Dack goes across the left-hand side in the 17th minute now to take the corner for Sunderland at the Roker end of the Stadium of Light. 0-0. Rigg in the 6-yard box, being manhandled at the moment. The ball floats in here. O'Nien trying to head it back in, and Ballard heads it over the bar. He knows that was an opportunity. He was 8 yards out, but headed it over.
Couldn't get enough on it. Ballard, good head
couldn't
back.
Get it down. So a goal kick to Millwall. Carlisle 0, Wycombe 1. Carlisle already relegated. Wycombe, their first game in the Football League under Martin O'Neill. was at Carlisle, Wycombe Wanderers, back in the day. Kick from Sarkic, headed on and out by O'Nien. Shook the hand of Eckler as he went past. Danny McNamara then with the throw back to Jake Cooper, plays it inside to Tanganga, who spent last season on loan at FC Augsburg, joined Millwall in January from Tottenham on loan till the end of the season. Cooper has it again, plays it back to the keeper at the edge of his penalty area. Long line of players in the Sunderland half, just in the Sunderland half, but the ball still at the back with Cooper, who's gone wide to the left, swings it up through the middle looking for Obafemi, but headed away by Ballard. Looking to run onto this then is Denor. He's get it again, the Belgian, back to Tanganga, who just squares it to his left to Cooper, out to McNamara on the touchline, trying to get past Rigg, slips, comes back.
It's gone out.
Looked like it went out, but the flag stayed down. Rigg makes another block, throws himself into the challenge. The ball comes back to Casper Denor, and he plays it out wide on the right to Ryan Leonard. Leonard swings a ball through the middle, looking for Fleming, takes it on his chest, the Dutchman, but Pembele whips it off him and puts it behind for a corner. Millwall's first corner. First we've really seen as Ian Fleming. Had a couple of touches early on, but the Dutchman getting in the penalty area then. And Honeyman is jogging across to take this corner from the left. Applause for George Honeyman from the Sunderland fans in that corner. He reciprocates. The referee wants to wait until Job's tied up his bootlace, which he has now done. Plenty of bodies around the 6-yard area. Plenty of bodies, including Jake Cooper, who's wrestling with Luke O'Nien on the 6-yard line. The corner will have to be taken again.
So
because the referee's
he could have given a penalty there
for that pushing by O'Nien.
But it's Dembele and
he's pulled out Eckler.
You know,
to be spoke to well. Eckler. Yeah, Obafemi's put himself in the 6-yard, but now Cooper's been pulled out. Jake Cooper is being spoken to, and Luke O'Nien's now being called out by the referee.
He's having a word with him that he will pull him.
He's ushered a couple of other players around.
Yeah, he's
Saville and Clark away. Skippers. Yeah. Two captains being spoken to. It just so happens the two captains were as guilty as anybody of pushing and shoving.
Yeah, just watch Obafemi, you know. Is it Pembele?
There's a lot of movement, there's a lot for the referee to keep an eye on here.
He'll give it.
The ball swings in, it's headed clear. Patterson's landed on the deck, picks himself up from that bundle of players who are still on the penalty spot and around about that.
Sorry, Nick, they've got to be careful. The referee's seen that he was pulling him. He cannot hold on to players.
It's going to be a long throw from the right wing for Millwall. 0-0 in the 21st minute, almost a quarter of the way through the game. It's taken short in the end, actually, to Honeyman. And back to Leonard on the right, back to Honeyman. Honeyman will cross. It comes crashing off the back of Elise. It'll be another throw. Will it? It goes for a corner. The ball bounced bizarrely. It looked like it was going straight out. And then somehow span, didn't it, back out for a corner? Which is probably not the result Sunderland were looking for.
And again, the referee will be watching them again, Nick. You just watch there in that penalty area about
Cooper
the pulling.
And O'Nien
holding on to players.
Cooper's got his arm up. O'Nien's pushing Cooper. It's like a tug of war between O'Nien and Cooper. Dax getting involved with Longman now as well. The ball whipped in from the right by Millwall, caught by Patterson. Almost under the bar, but he stood his ground firmly, caught it, and comes to the edge of the penalty area, Anthony Patterson, and rolls it out here to Luke O'Nien on the right-hand side. Millwall's away form this season, 5 wins, 6 draws and 10 defeats. As Rigg picks this up in the centre circle. Rolls it out wide left now to Jack Clark. Jack Clark dribbling at Leonard, cutting across, playing it to Job. Job stabs it back to Eckler. Eckler now to Clark again, just a few yards from him. And Clark looks up, rolls it out to Elise on the left of the penalty area, back to Clark. Clark, Savills in front of him. Rolls it through, Elise to run onto this, down on the goal line, pulls it back here for Styles, it takes a deflection, is shot wide for a corner. Well played, well worked.
Well done, Elise. And that's something that you bring to the team, doesn't he, Elise? He wants to get forward.
Dak heading across to take the corner on the left again, as we get some atmosphere in the ground again now. Rigg again on the goal line, everyone else at the back of the box. Ballard makes a dash, the ball floats in towards Job, who heads it just over. Both times at least Ballard and Job are the ones who've got their heads on it, but not able to cause Sarkic any problems. Remains 0-0 in the 24th minute. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Sarkic goes to the right side of his 6-yard box for this goal kick. Everybody follows suit in a small square between the centre circle and the touchline. The ball actually heads through the centre, hooked away by O'Nien, looking for Rigg. Comes back up off his ankles, goes out off of McNamara for a Sunderland throw. Pembele just in front of Neil Harris. O'Nien comes up in support, Rigg is there as well. Rigg making a run down the right-hand side, comes back to Pembele eventually from the throw, and then O'Nien plays it back to Ballard. Ballard bringing this out through the middle, lays it off to Elise. Down the line, Clark plays it back to Elise, then into the middle to Dan Ballard, and Ballard across to O'Nien on this right-hand side. Hooks it down the right, looking for the run of Rigg here, but Cooper gets in front of him. Rigg still trying to win it off Cooper, but the 6'6" giant hooks it out for a throw to Sunderland. Down the right wing, O'Nien halfway inside the Millwall half in the 25th minute. Goalless, Job across the centre circle, the front of it, down the left wing to Clark. Clark running at Longman, trying to get round him here at the back of the penalty area, across the middle, crashes into Saville. The referee says he's fouled him.
You've got to be careful.
Yes, he's been booked already, Clark.
You know, and that's what the Millwall players are saying.
Clark is still close to the referee. He's not walked away from him. He's looking to see how Saville is. Fleming's having a word with Clark, and the referee calls Clark towards him here. He's having a word, and
just tell him to be careful.
I think it is shown some common sense. I think I'm not sure Clark's challenge was in any way malicious, and so it'll be a free kick that the goalkeeper Sarkic will take, and South Shields lead 2-0 this afternoon, and that means that as it stands they sit in the playoffs, but Blythe losing, and as it stands at the moment that would mean their relegation, but plenty of time for that situation to change. A kick from Sarkic, headed away by Ballard outside the penalty area on the left, comes back to Elise. Obafemi on his shoulder, he plays a long ball into the Millwall half. It will bounce back to the goalkeeper outside of his penalty area on the right. He passes it into the middle to Cooper. Dak gave chase, the ball played down the left wing. Honeyman's on this side now, fouled by Pembele, pushing him over. So free kick to Millwall. Millwall don't seem particularly adventurous, do they?
No, not at all, but saying that, Sunderland don't look adventurous either, do they, really? When you look at the first 28 minutes of this game, Nick, the goalkeepers have had nothing to do.
Well, one save from Rigg, wasn't it? But it was straight at him. It wasn't. It was a fairly comfortable save for Sarkic. And now a bit of frustration at the time. Saville's taken to take the free kick, but he swings it from his own half in through the middle, edge of the area. Equa hooks it high in the air. Ballard gets back up and into the area, and Job trying to clear it. It drops for Fleming. Now Tanganga down the right to Leonard, puts it back into Obafemi. He's tackled by Ballard for the corner and the right edge of the 6-yard box, and Ballard's trying to say to the referee he was pushed.
Yeah, but this is what Millwall's all about. You know, you're talking about it being adventurous. They won't be adventurous. What they will do is set pieces.
Yeah. Something Mike Dods spoke about in the build-up. George Saville's gone to take the corner. Northeast corner.
And again, he's watching carefully on this, Nick.
Yeah, there's a lot of players again around the 6-yard line. A lot of bodies in there, a lot of pushing of each other. The ball swings in. It's headed in the air and behind. It's a goal kick.
Well done.
Came off Fleming, I think. Luton 0, Brentford 1 in the Premier League this afternoon. Patterson puts the ball down the middle of his 6-yard line. Ballard one side of him, Elise the other. O'Nien out wide on the right.
He's got nobody to hit, has he?
He's driving it up towards Job on halfway. Tanganga gets above him, heads it out. Throw for Sunderland on the left. Elise will take this back to Ballard. Ballard at the edge of the area, passes it to Patterson, who taps it out to O'Nien. O'Nien back to Patterson, who rolls it with his foot to Ballard, chased by Obafemi. Ballard has to keep going, and he plays it away across the face of Fleming to O'Nien here on the right-hand side. And O'Nien, just a few yards from Mike Dods, plays it into Dack. Carlisle 1, Wickham 1. Now to Dack again. Out to Elise. On halfway. Forwards to Clark, who wins the throw from Leonard's challenge. Back it comes to Styles. In his yellow boots. Plays it out to Clark. Clark back to Elise. Ekwa in the middle. Looking for Pembele on the right touchline. McNamara heads it out over the Frenchman for a throw to Sunderland. O'Nien takes it, throws it back to Dan Ballard in the Sunderland half. There's a shadow from the roof of the west stand, creeps across the pitch. The sun bursts out, but there's not a great deal of heat in it. His Styles turns it into Joe, back to Elise, just inside the Sunderland half. Millwall, reminder, in their dark navy shirts and white shorts. Here's Pembele. Pembele back to O'Nien, and O'Nien into the middle of his own half to Dan Ballard. Ballard to Elise. Tanganga runs in, gets on the ball. Ballard does the same. Crashes back up to Tanganga. Breaks for Styles, who finds Job on the centre spot. Lovely ball down the right of the penalty area, and sliding in is McNamara to whip the ball away from Pembele for a corner to Sunderland. Sunderland's fourth corner. Dack again coming down to take this on the right. The southwest corner.
See if we can get this one right. They've won the first header, it's the second one.
Nice to see a show races and the red card banner hanging over the balcony in the Roker end, above the lower section. Dack, now the referee's again having to watch. And he's called out Honeyman and Rigg this time. It's a conversation I think he's going to have quite a lot this afternoon with the players when there's a set piece. Rigg and Honeyman jog back into the 6-yard box. Rigg standing in front of Honeyman, who's in front of the keeper, trying to get in front of Honeyman. The ball played in low, and O'Nien tried to steer it in the bottom right corner, but just past the post.
Couldn't get enough on it.
No. So goal kick to Millwall in the 32nd minute, still 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light. 13th versus 16th at the start of play. Last season, of course, these two on the last day were vying for the playoffs. In the end, Millwall finished 8th after that remarkable game against Blackburn at the Den. Sarkic with the kick here, goes wide, headed away from Longman, who's on loan from Hull, Ryan Longman. Out for a throw to Millwall. Throw taken by Ryan Leonard. Back to Tanganga and then to Jake Cooper in the middle of his own half. Tanganga almost caught by Clark and so put off by Clark. Bearing down on him, he puts the ball out. Styles will take the throw. Sunderland's substitutes warming up, amongst them Corey Evans, who's on the bench this afternoon. Styles inside to Joe, back then to Clark. Clark to Ballard in the middle of his own half, to O'Nien, Pembele, and Pembele just in the Millwall half, wide on the right, back to O'Nien, into Ballard in the middle, and Ballard across to Elise. Fleming in front of him, finds Ekwa. Ekwa trying to play it down the left of midfield to Joe, blocked by Millwall, comes back to O'Nien, plays it back through to Ballard. Patterson's come out of his area, but Ballard has the ball at his feet, puts his right foot on it and then plays it across to Elise. Down the line to Clark. Clark back into his own half, leaves it for Ekwa. Ekwa now into the centre circle, across to O'Nien. O'Nien hooking it down the right, looking for Rigg. It comes off him awkwardly for a throw to Millwall. And McNamara comes across to take this throw. Halfway inside his own half. Back it goes to Cooper. Harrogate 1, MK Dons 0. Back to the goalkeeper to kick out wide to Leonard. Back to Tanganga at the corner of the Millwall penalty area. Squares it to Cooper, the other corner of the penalty area. Then out to Saville on the left wing. Rigg goes to close him down, gets back to Cooper. Cooper, Dack in front of him, finds Denor, and he gets it up to the halfway line. And the break from Fleming down the right wing, and trying to cut in, and the ball played in to Obafemi at the edge of the area, back out to the right hand side to Longman, crosses again, is headed away by Rigg. It'll run back here though on this left hand side to Saville, and now to Honeyman, left corner, rolls it in, trying to get it to Saville. O'Nien gets in front of him and the ball goes behind for a goal kick.
Good defending there, but Nick, the game's flat, isn't it?
It is, the atmosphere's flat, the game's flat. Blythe are losing 4-0 against Brackley this afternoon. It's the latest score in that critical game for Blythe Spartans. His Rigg, he nearly lost it, but he's recovered and he's found Ekwa behind him, forwards to Dack in the centre circle, leaves it for Job. Job out to Styles. Styles on the left now, being chased down by Longman. Longman gets the ball off Callum Styles and plays it to Leonard, back to Longman on the touchline and lifts it up looking for Obafemi. Still inside the Millwall half, tackled by Clark. Clark cutting into the centre here. Clark still going, rolls it to Pembele. Little tap inside, but straight to a Millwall player, Saville I think it is, who hooks it out for a throw. Slightly heavy touch from Pembele. He comes across to take the throw for Sunderland. Deep in the Millwall half. Finds Ekwa. Gets a push in the back, but the ball goes behind for a goal kick. 37 minutes. 0-0.
And not much to talk about, is there? Really, it's flat, the game.
It's not the most exciting game in the world. Casper Denor wide to Leonard, back to the Belgian. Hooks it away from Job, but hooks it out. Throw to Sunderland. Elise back to Ballard in the middle of the Sunderland half. O'Nien back to Ballard, forwards to Ekwa at the back of the centre circle, leaves it then for Elise. Clark looks for the run of Job, down the left of the penalty area, Tanganga on his shoulder, out to the touchline, back to Elise. Good ball, he's on the corner of the penalty area, leaves it again for Job on the left. Job trying to shake off Tanganga, plays it behind him to Clark. Clark plays it to Ekwa, left of midfield, forced back by Fleming, and then back to Ballard in the centre circle, and to O'Nien. Sheffield United 0, Burnley 1, and a tackle on McNamara. The ball shuffled out by Honeyman.
Well done, Rick.
Throw on the right here, which O'Nien will take just in front of Mike Dods. Back to Ballard, 38th minute, 0-0. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Here's Styles. Back to Elise. Squared inside to Ekwa. Swings it straight to the path of Honeyman. He was looking for Pembele. Honeyman trying to get away down the left. Closed down by Rigg. Plays it back to McNamara. And now inside to Saville. Through down the left of midfield. Ballard steers it away from Fleming. Back up to almost halfway in Saville. And taps it back to Cooper. Forwards again on halfway to Denor. And back to Tanganga. To his left to Cooper.
Yeah, cheers, loving 308 of peaked of watching the channel so far, watching the stream. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new.
Out to Saville on the touchline. Little flick inside from McNamara to Fleming.
Back to the match.
But he's tackled by Ekwa. O'Nien behind him, gets it through to Job. Job looking for the run of Clark. Clark has Leonard in front of him, just inside the Millwall half. Plays it inside to Job on the halfway line. And Job along that halfway line to O'Nien. O'Nien wide to Pembele, just in front of Neil Harris. Plays it back to Luke O'Nien. Just over 5 minutes until half time. And then down the left wing again to Clark. Clark, Leonard in front of him, trying to keep with Clark, forcing him back towards halfway. Back it's played to Dan Ballard. Short pass forwards to Ekwa, then to Job ahead of him. Job turns it into the path of Clark, through the middle. Clark head down, tackled by Saville. The ball pushed forward by Denor to Obafemi, back to Fleming, out to Honeyman on the left-hand side. And Honeyman pushes it back to McNamara after he was closed down by O'Nien. And back again to Cooper. And Cooper inside to Saville. Back to Cooper, then Tanganga. Wide to Ryan Leonard. And the former Sheffield United defender gets it back again here from Saville. And it's Sheffield United 0, Burnley 2. As Longman makes a break down the right wing. Closed down by Styles, who gets in front of him and manages to get the ball to Elise. Out to Job, who has in the end lost the ball. Denor to Saville. And then Saville will play it wide here to McNamara on the left wing, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Forwards to Honeyman, wide on the touchline, plays it back to Saville. Saville just plays it back out to Honeyman. Honeyman back to Cooper, just left of the centre circle. Through the middle, Denor, looking for Leonard on the right-hand side. And he swings in a ball straight into the arms of Anthony Patterson. It's Harrogate 1, MK Dons 1. And the ball is rolled out to Pembele. He's got Rigg out wide of him.
We haven't got a striker, look.
There's no one to play it out to. And it's come down to Elise in the end, in the 42nd minute, in the sunshine on the far side, into Ekwa in the centre circle. O'Nien down the right to Pembele. Back to O'Nien. O'Nien swinging the ball wide, then to Clark. Heads it forwards. He had to leap quite high to keep it in. Leonard hooks it away. Right back up to Elise on halfway. Inside, Ballard. Ballard to O'Nien, down the right to Pembele. 0-0 still, as O'Nien looks for Clark on the left wing. A third of the way inside the Millwall half. Taking on Longman. Finds Styles on a nice ball into the penalty area. Tanganga in front of him. He played it inside, straight to McNamara, who gets it clear. Fleming could be away here. Oh, there's a foul on O'Nien.
Yeah. Well done, referee.
Because they would have been away.
Yeah.
Obafemi and Fleming were clear, but O'Nien clipped. Is lying on his back just inside the Millwall half, and it'll be a free kick to Sunderland, and it's going to be a yellow card for Saville, I think.
Obafemi as well.
Was it Obafemi?
Yeah, he's the one who blocked 09.
Yeah, it will be, because Saville's been ushered away. Obafemi is now being spoken to by Anthony Backhausen and shown the yellow card.
Good play by Styles. He's pulled the ball back, thinking that somebody would be arriving, and there's nobody there.
Nobody in there.
Yeah.
It was a nice pass in to Styles from Clark as well. Just found the gap. We've played 43 minutes. Sunderland 0, Millwall 0. Not a lot to write home about. Here's O'Nien pushing it through the middle. Equa trying to get on the end of it. Blocked by Denor. Now he's going to try and get this out to Honeyman on the left-hand side on halfway. Through past O'Nien, off O'Nien for a throw. No, didn't make contact with O'Nien. Throw to Sunderland. Pushed it past him. Drops to Rigg. Stoke 1, Plymouth 0. Here's Elise bringing the ball out now for Sunderland, to Styles, back to Elise, inside to Equa. Short pass to Job, the front of the centre circle, back to O'Nien, out to Pembele. Pembele back again to O'Nien. O'Nien swings a ball wide left. Clark brings it down in front of Leonard, who gets his right foot through it, finds Longman just ahead of him, keeps it in, just slides it inside to Denor, who plays it back to Cooper. And Cooper in the last minute now of the 45 to McNamara, to Honeyman, back to McNamara, and he plays it behind him to Cooper, and Cooper happy to hold it for a moment, and then decides to play it across and to the right, looking for Longman on the shoulder of Styles. It bounces away from the pair of them for a throw to Sunderland. Styles with the throw. Plenty of empty seats as people have headed to the concourses for half time. O'Nien into the middle of his own half. Ballard across to Elise. Fourth official, Martin Woods, strolling out with the board. Clark swings the ball in, looking for Jobe, hooked away by Tanganga for a throw to Sunderland. We're going to get 1 minute of added time. Here's Styles from the throw, he's tackled, and Denor's going to come away with this, and he's barged over, or Saville barged over by Elise. The ball out again, another throw to Millwall. As this first half peters out.
It's not going to be a memorable one, is it?
No. To Cooper, eventually. Back to Tanganga. Tanganga, Dak in front of him, just swings it back to Cooper. 20 seconds or so left of the minimum minute. Here's Denor, back to Cooper. Cooper bringing this forwards down the left and swinging his left foot through it through the middle, but Elise gets the shout from Patterson, lets it drop over his shoulder. Patterson rolls it out to Jobe, and that's the minute. And right on the minute we get the half-time whistle, and at half-time it is goalless. There's been little to write any notes about. A Rigg shot from 25 yards at Sarkic, a little bit of pushing and shoving when it came to corners in the penalty areas, and 2 bookings, Clark and Obafemi.
And that covers all the action.
That summed it up, really, hasn't it? It's not a lot for you to do in your 1000th game.
No, it's not at all. As I said, it's, shall we say, it looks like a typical end-of-season game.
That's it, that's your summing up.
That's it.
Okay.
There's nothing else to
really
talk about, really.
There's not a lot. Let's hope for better in the second half. We've got it here live on BBC Radio Newcastle, of course, and SAFC.com. Thankfully, there's plenty of other things to talk about this afternoon at half-time in the games which have import at the tops and bottoms of various leagues. And there's cricket as well. Half-time at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Millwall 0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Taylor Swift has a new album out today, and Wendy from Time Off, you're a bit of a fan, aren't you?
Me and my daughter Molly, who's 11, went to see Taylor Mania last night, which is a tribute act for Taylor Swift. So if
So there, that's the half time. Is there anything been going on? Not a thing. Oh dear. You guys ready for some socials? Stephen says, my eyes are hurting. Not too bad, says Jordan, but a few seem to be on holiday already. Chris is saying flip-flops and sunscreen already on. Boring, slow backwards and sideways passing, said Jason. Boring as F-U-C-K. First 20 was great. Being S-H-I-T-E after that. Yet again, wing play after screwing, wing play after wing play after wing play. It gets us nowhere. Dull and boring. Boring as a swear word. Mediocre. Goes to say I think a lot of Sunderland fans are bored. It's true, Craig, but the future is a wonderful thing. David says, you're not wrong, Mackie Cameron says, Craig, love Benno, haha. Paul, we are going to end with a board draw. Yeah, it's looking that way, isn't it? Damn, still got another one in, have there? Says David. Craig, been more action going past and the bus. I'm on the A1. Good motorway, the A1, it's exciting. Cheers for the subscriber. I'm just off to get a sausage roll and some brown sauce. Let's just catch up on some of the chat while I've just had a cup of tea. So Curtis says, no, we just go for free agents, and he would really be Ed. Paul, Division 1 at best. SJ, the deal would insinuate corruption. Has football for you? Is Sunderland a bit skint then, or just tight, says Paul? Skint, says Curtis. SJ, thought we were after that Leicester striker, free young, get him on board. Loan for 20 million. Lex, hello mate. I think I'll take back my Dods not playing for win comment, even if the game and Dods player look like it too, cause at least he's trying things from a position of strength. I thought you've still got big crowds though, says Paul. Best of all, we're supporting the league, says Chris. Turkey says Sunderland is now a cash cow for KLD. SGA, big crowds, so now when you have states buying clubs, complete unfair advantage. Paul says predictions for the game, then I'm going 1-1. Millwall will score from a corner, nailed on, says SJ. Well, interesting comments there. So back to the commentary, and let's hope we have a little bit more excitement.
Hamir, Burstow, Mundelbar, Aushish, Hjelde and Hume, and Millwall, Sarkic in goal, Leonard, Tanganga, Cooper, McNamara, Honeyman, Denor, Saville and Longman, with Fleming and Obafemi up front. Duncan Watmore is on the bench for Millwall this afternoon. We're still awaiting Sunderland. Maybe they decided, you know, it's not worth it.
What for?
Why bother? Someone made the point earlier as well about Dak playing and Hume on the bench. We're not going to see Dak here next season. I'd be very, very surprised if we do. What are we going to learn then from Dak playing in that role? And why not give Tommy Watson, say, that Hume's place on the bench?
Well, the thing is, Nick, you're analysing that first 45 minutes and you ask him. I've just spoken to, funny enough, Jordan Henderson's uncle. We just had that discussion in regards of, you know, we're basically playing without a striker. Yeah. You ask him what has Dak done, he's taken 3 corners. 4 corners.
I know.
And then after that, you ask him what has he contributed. But saying that it's not been the best 45 minutes for Sunderland, has it?
No,
really, in regards of creating opportunities.
Well, there's going to be a change. Hume is coming on, and it's Dak who's going off. Which is just
unbelievable, isn't it? Eh? We should be down by the touchline, me and you. You couldn't call it, could you?
No, you couldn't.
We did.
Could you? Well, I actually literally am lost for words here. So Dak is replaced by Hume,
and he's been poorly with Hume.
Yeah, he has been, and that was the reason he didn't start the game. Millwall about to get the second half underway. Now, who goes up? Job, presumably.
Yeah, Job will go up front.
Now, will Styles go into midfield alongside Ekwa?
Yeah, unless Elise playing as a...
Unless Elise comes out here.
No, he's playing as a left wing back.
He's playing as the left wing back.
Hume has gone in as a centre back.
So Job will push further forwards then.
Yeah. Styles has gone into midfield.
Styles has gone in as that midfielder. Yeah, it makes more sense for Styles to play in.
So Styles has replaced Job's position.
Yeah, Job pushes up front.
Replaced Dak's position.
Yeah. We're into the opening minute of the second half. I forgot to start my stopwatch. I was so excited.
Start.
But I can see the time ticking on the big screen above the Roker end. Just the ball out here with Clark on the left-hand side in their red and white stripes. Sunderland defending the south end of the stadium in this second half. O'Nien plays the ball across to Hume, plays it back to Ballard. Ballard swings it up towards Elise, gets his head on it, but out for a throw to Millwall on the right-hand side. One can only assume that Dak picked up some sort of injury in the first half.
Yeah. Kicking the ball.
That's harsh.
Nah, he must have picked up his slack. He must have
pulled something.
Yeah.
Here's Hume battling for it on halfway on the left. Longman wins it back for Millwall. Plays it behind to Leonard, who steers it back to Sarkic, the goalkeeper. Out to Leonard again, swings it down the right. The Devonian from Plymouth, or Plimpton, just outside Plymouth. There's Styles, bursts through the middle here now. Pembele sprinted into the penalty area. It's played inside to Chris Rigg. Rigg then rolls it out to Clark, left edge of the penalty area. And Clark, the overlap coming from Elise. Clark forced out by Longman, swings it across to Hume. Hume urged to shoot, which he does. It fizzes over the crossbar. Wasn't far over, but over nonetheless. And it's still 0-0.
But at least there's a little bit of tempo to the game, Nick.
Stepped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Goal kick, Sarkic, Matica Sarkic, the Montenegrin international, places it just in the sunshine, the shadows of the West Stand creeping up to the point at where he took the goal kick. It's headed away by O'Nien, back down the left wing. Leonard onto this. Job jogs after him. It's played back to the goalkeeper, who kicks it clear first time up to the halfway line. O'Nien heads it away from Fleming. On to Jake Cooper, though, leaves it for Saville.
Chris Rigg.
And Griggs on his back on the floor. And looks as though he's hurt his lower back.
He's back.
Yeah, he's just rubbing his lower back, his hands on his back, and the ball's gone out on the far side for a Sunderland throw. Anthony Backhouse, the referee, who's in a turquoise top, comes across to have a look at the kneeling Rigg, who's now stood up. And he's going to run this off Chris Rigg. Just walking across, rubbing his lower back. A 16-year-old. And the throw taken by Pembele back to Cooper. Jake Cooper, the 6'6" centre-back for Millwall. Across to Tanganga, who's a mere 6 foot. Played on down this right wing now for Longman. Longman turning in front of Elise. Back towards the halfway line. Swings the ball across to the far side to McNamara, who nods it straight down to Honeyman. Honeyman on that far side turns in front of Pembele to play it back to Cooper, and Cooper to Tanganga at the back of the centre circle. Out towards the right, forwards down the right wing, Longman. Longman inside to Denor, then away to Longman again. Leonard out on the touchline, played it off Styles. It comes back to Leonard, plays it back again to Tanganga, just inside his own half on the right. Plays it to Cooper. Cooper down the left wing then to McNamara. Inside to George Saville. 50 caps for Northern Ireland, George Saville. 30 years old now.
Did he start up at Chelsea?
He basically started as a Reading youth player, but then moved to Chelsea. And then had a spell at Millwall in 2013, another loan spell at Millwall in 2015, and then he signed for Millwall, played 2 years, 2017 to 2019, with a loan at Middlesbrough before moving to Middlesbrough for 2 years and signing for Millwall in 2021. It's a free kick to Millwall, just inside the Sunderland half, just forwards right of the centre circle. George Honeyman and George Saville, the Georges, over the ball. Sunderland pushing out, good 25 yards, holding a line there. Anthony Backhouse blows the short pass, free kick to Saville, who dinks this into the penalty area, headed out by Ballard, brought down by Longman. Ekwa goes with him to the left edge of the penalty area. Longman pulls it back to Saville on the left, back out to Longman on the touchline, And Longman looks to cross, sweeps this in. Tanganga's up, but straight into the arms of Anthony Patterson. Sheffield United 1, Burnley 2.
So that's the problem we've got as well when we, the likes of Patterson, when he does collect the ball, we haven't got nobody to hit.
Carlisle 1, Wickham 2 in League 1. Harrogate 3, MK Dons 2. Ball played forwards and headed away by Cooper. Looking to find McNamara, which he did, and eventually comes out to Leonard on the right. Forwards down the right wing, Honeyman, Denor, Hume goes straight through him. No nonsense. Free kick to Millwall, right at the centre circle. Saville will take this, floating it over the top, looking for Obafemi, who's offside. Flags up pretty smartly on this near side. So free kick to Sunderland. 0-0 in the 53rd minute as the ball slipped through to Jobe. Jobe at the edge of the area, taps it back behind into Pembele, back out to Jobe on the right. Jobe just a yard or two in from the touchline, plays it back here for Rigg across to Ekwa in the middle, and he's closed down quickly by Fleming, but he gets the ball back to Ballard on the centre spot, who finds O'Nien out to Clark on the left. Clark chased by Leonard and Honeyman, comes back to the centre circle and in there plays it to Hume, and Hume now has Pembele out on the right touchline, halfway inside the Millwall half. Millwall in their dark blue shirts and white shorts and dark blue socks on the halfway line. Again laid off this time by Callum Stiles to O'Nien. O'Nien down the left, I was trying to find Elise, it was cut out. It's a throw to Sunderland on the left. Elise will take this, it's deep in the Millwall half. Drops to Stiles, back to Elise. Harrogate 3, MK Dons 3. The ball cut out at the edge of the penalty area by Millwall. A foul on Leonard and a free kick to the visitors. Next up for Millwall, their penultimate game is at home against Plymouth Argyle next weekend. And it's Norwich 0, Bristol City 1. Norwich, who still harbour hopes of being involved in the playoffs, and still should be, despite losing at the moment to Bristol City, because they started the afternoon 6 points clear of Hull in 7th place. As Honeyman is fouled, it's a free kick in the middle of the Sunderland half. But it's a slip-up Norwich won't really want to see, the gap narrowed necessarily heading into the final couple of games. So yet again, Honeyman and Saville standing over the ball in the 55th minute now, and Saville leaves it for Honeyman to take. Saville strolls away. Again, the line being held 23, 24 yards out. Honeyman drives us in with his right foot right through, and it's headed behind for a corner by Elise. Millwall's first corner of the second half, their fourth of the game. Saville going across to take it, and Anthony Backhouse again just alert, watching the movement inside the penalty area. This time it seems to be a bit more sedate. Everyone's standing around having a chat. The ball swung in by Saville, hangs in the air a moment. Fleming trying to get underneath it. The referee's seen something, penalises Millwall. Free kick to Sunderland. Neil Harris turns and stares, appeals to the fourth official as to what was that all about. And Patterson will take the free kick, taps it to O'Nien.
It's not a pretty game, is it?
No.
Entertaining, shall I say? Entertaining.
I think that's yeah. It's not entertaining. It's
typical end of season game.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Here's O'Nien up towards the halfway line, inside to Styles. Styles swings it over to Pembele. It'll be cut out by McNamara for a throw to Sunderland. Pretty much halfway inside the Millwall half on the right-hand side. Sheffield United 1, Burnley 3. Pembele takes the throw. In fact, Hume takes the throw. Norwich 1, Bristol City 1. O'Nien away from Fleming, back to Ballard. Closed down by Michael Obafemi, who's on loan from Burnley, having mentioned them. Began his career with Chelsea, Arsenal, Watford and Leyton Orient as a youngster, all four of them before moving to Southampton to establish himself, and then Swansea and Burnley he signed for in the summer. The ball hooked in the air by O'Nien, comes down off Denor for Longman down this right wing, and he's trying to take on Elise. He swings in across straight at Patterson. Took it firmly at the second attempt, out quickly to Rigg. Rigg now running up to the halfway line. He's got Pembele out wide. He's come back into his own half, checks a moment, and in the centre circle Chris Rigg brings it across, taps it to O'Nien, wide then to Clark. Clark taking on Longman and Leonard, and Leonard trying to stick with him. Longman puts a foot to it, out for a throw to Sunderland down the left wing. Duncan Watmore warming up. Boston are leading at Hereford. South Shields slip out of the playoffs as it stands. That's where we are at the moment. In the 58th minute here at the Stadium of Light, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Jobe hooks it back from the goal line. Elise finds Styles at the corner, the left corner of the Millwall penalty area, looking for Pembele on that far side. The overlap from Hume. Pembele's low shot driven straight at Matica Sarkic. Easy take for the Montenegrin goalkeeper.
I think that shot just sums up the game.
Limp,
weak.
The crowd doing their best to try and instill some fervour into the game. The kick from Sarkic. Fleming thought he was being pulled by Ekwa, the referee's having none of it. O'Nien hooks it away. Oh, there's a foul by Leonard on Clark. Upends him off the ball. Neil Harris is barking instructions, yelling at his players. Clark picks himself up quickly. Denor's having a word with the referee. Free kick. He needs more than champagne.
I need some of that whiskey.
It's O'Nien's going to take this free kick on this near side, and back it goes to Patterson. Ballard to Hume, Hume back to Ballard, and now O'Nien down the left to Styles, under immediate pressure from Donor, but it holds off the Belgian and plays it back to Patterson. It's cleared up to the halfway line. It's at the corner of the penalty area, and eventually played back in by Rigg to Patterson.
Nobody up, you see.
Job's up in the centre circle, he's got the two centre halves either side of him. It's come out to O'Nien on this left-hand side, up to the halfway line. He plays the ball eventually across to Hume, then wide to Pembele, just ahead of him, back to Hume on halfway, rolls it inside to Ekwa, back to Ballard, and then to O'Nien on this left-hand side. O'Nien takes it into the Millwall half, And again, what's he going to do? Goes for Hume on halfway on the right-hand side. Honeyman appeals for handball against Hume. Rigg tried to let the ball run past him and past Cooper, but it ran a bit too smartly past him. And then Millwall give the ball away. There's going to be a double substitution. Aushish and Barr are going to come on for Sunderland.
We need some energy, don't we? That's what we need.
So Pembele's coming off for Barr. And Riggs coming off for Aushish. I think Riggs done all right, actually.
He's done fine.
I think it's the old give him an hour again. Rigg comes off to general applause. Duncan Watmore's warming up. I think he's going to come on for Millwall. He's having a word with Neil Harris. Watmore. It looks very much like he might be about to come on. So Aushish comes on. Barr will play on that right-hand side role. Who will take over as right wing back?
Barr.
Oh, right. Yeah, I see. Yeah, right. Of course he will. Barr will play as right wing back. With Aushish effectively taking over the Rigg role. Here's Elise finds Aushish, tries to dink the ball in from the left of the penalty area. It's cleared behind for a corner. Sunderland's 5th corner. Up comes Ballard, O'Nien. Aushish will take the corner on the left-hand side. Goalkeeper shielding his eyes from the sun. And Aushish drives in low, actually, and it's stabbed behind by Cooper on the shoulder of Ballard.
Got away with it there, Aushish. Poor corner.
It was a poor corner. So Aushish again, another corner again from the left-hand side. Bit of movement, bit of shirt pulling on Ballard, but it's let go by the referee. Aushish sneaks in past Longman, and sliding in was McNamara to knock the ball behind for another corner. Clark comes across short here and they lays it off again to Aushish. Aushish with his right foot curls it in, it's hooked away, out by Fleming up to the halfway line, and it will be an up and under, as they used to say, from Trey Hume onto the head of McNamara. Firmly onto the ball in the middle, Styles, but it's knocked away by Fleming to Longman in the middle. Longman trying to skip through, loses the ball to Styles, and Styles now away. Lays it off to Barr on the right wing. Barr trying to cut inside round Longman, but showed a little bit too much of the ball to Fleming, but still wins it back and carries on with it. And now leaves it for Aushish. Aushish out wide to Clark on this left-hand side. Back to Barr on the left to Aushish. And there's a tangle between Honeyman and Barr. They both pick themselves up and the ball's come all the way back to Patterson. Plays it out to Ballard, just at the edge of the centre circle. Across to O'Nien. And now to Elise. They're going to bring on, I think, Watmore, and are they going to make a double switch on this? Hard to see. It looks like that
might be Nesbitt.
Could be Nisbet, yeah. Kevin Nisbet on the left-hand side. Here's Sunderland with Clark. Clark looking to play the ball back here to O'Nien.
Nesbitt and
I think Tom Bradshaw is also going to come on. It could be a triple substitution, actually. Luton 0, Brentford 3 in the Premier League. And Tom Bradshaw, centre forward, Welsh international. Here's Elise down the left, pulls it back to Clark, and now Styles just outside the penalty area, rolls it down the left to Elise, crosses, Tanganga will head this behind again.
Excellent ball in.
Watmore, Bradshaw are certainly coming on. Aushish will take this corner. 0-0, 66th minute. Driven in. Oh, it's whipped away. It's headed out by Millwall. Clark will chase it back and plays it down the left wing to Aushish. Aushish now trying to come around. Longman curls the ball round through the penalty area and out behind for the goal kick, and the substitutions will be made now by Millwall. Neil Harris with his arm wrapped around the shoulder of Tom Bradshaw.
Will come off.
It'll be the front two, do you think?
Yeah.
Well, certainly Obafemi's coming off for.
Yeah, Fleming might come off as well, I would imagine.
And Watmore will replace Honeyman. So Honeyman comes off, applauded off by the Sunderland fans. Watmore takes his place in the 67th minute. It's Sunderland 0, Millwall 0. A goal kick for Millwall. The kick down the right. Fleming gets his head on it. Watmore's trying to win it. It's cleared by Sunderland. A chase for Job. Tanganga gets his head on it. Drops for Job. He gets his foot on it. Finds Barr here. Pushes it into the penalty area on the right-hand side. Cooper in front of him. Drives it to Aushish. Blocked in front of him. His shot. He volleyed it straight at the defender on the 6-yard line, right in front of him. And now O'Nien trying to set it up again for Barr down the right-hand side. Barr dribbling into the penalty area. Pulls it back for Styles. Back again here. A bit of indecision between Hume and Ekwa. But Ekwa then lays it off to Hume. And Hume down the right. Barr. He's got Watmore in front of him. Watmore sticking with him. Barr trying to shake him off. Barr at the corner of the penalty area. Watmore still trying to stab the ball away. It comes back to Hume. And Hume back again to Ekwa. Ekwa into the middle to O'Nien. O'Nien with, in the middle, Ballard just behind him. Forwards to Ekwa again. Ekwa is going to shoot from a long way out. It bounces wide.
Corner.
And it's a corner kick. And there's been a slight deflection as he went through. Aushish down to take the corner again. Cardiff 1, Southampton 1. 69th minute here, 0-0. Luton 0, Brentford 4. Aushish's corner, headed out. A chase here, Denor coming out with it. Watmore making a break down the left wing. He wants the ball played in front of him. He's got the ball now. Ekwa's in front of him. He plays it back to McNamara. McNamara out to Watmore again on the left-hand side. And Watmore plays it into the middle to Denor. Behind him is Saville. Saville lays it off to Tanganga in the centre circle. Wide to Leonard. Leonard into the middle again to Saville. He taps it back. In fact, it was Denor who taps it back to Tanganga. Denor and Saville are almost identical. They look like twins from where we're sitting up here in the ginger-haired midfielders. The ball played down the left-hand side. McNamara is going to let it roll out for a throw. Hume pushes him out. It's Burnley, Sheffield United 1, Burnley 4. 70th minute, 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light.
A long throw.
It looks like it's going to be a long throw, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From the
Cooper's up.
Far side. Cooper jogs up towards the 6-yard box. And Saville, it is, I think, hurls the ball into the penalty area. Cooper does get under it. It drops. Oh, it's dropped by Patterson. He's won a free kick. Saville smashed it over the bar. He's fouled as he went to grab it.
Yeah. At least he's down, isn't he?
Yeah. At least he picks himself up. O'Nien has the ball at the moment. BBC Radio Newcastle. Sunderland 0, Millwall 0. You can speak to Benno after 5. You can give him a call on 0800 234 6565, or you can send a WhatsApp message. Put BBC at the front of your message. It's 08000 321 333, or you can text again. Put BBC at the front of your message. 81333. Saville's on the break here, out to Longman on the right of the penalty area. The ball played in from Watmore. smashes it in on the shoulder of Ballard, ran right onto it, first touch into the roof of the net, and Watmore's only been on a matter of 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good ball in by Longman, but again, you've got Watmore, you've got people who's in the box, it's gone and attacked it at the near post. We don't have that.
Duncan Watmore then, his 4th championship goal of the season. He scored in the FA Cup as well, but Duncan Watmore whipped in, and very, very good touch, one has to say.
He's got a good finish.
Yeah.
But what made it, what made the goal was his run to the near post.
Yes.
He's gambled. We put balls into the near post. We've got nobody in there. We've got no striker. All of a sudden, Millwall get the ball on the right. He just whipped the ball into the space. Great reaction by Watmore. He's attacked the near post.
He just sprinted in, didn't he? Yeah. Got on the right side of Ballard.
Got a touch on it. It flew into the back of the net. That's all it takes.
Yep. Sunderland 0, Millwall 1. It's the old boy, 30 years old now, Duncan Watmore, who has given Millwall the lead. Something for them to hold on to now, as Sunderland have to defend again here. Ballard under pressure from Bradshaw, passes it to O'Nien. O'Nien up to the halfway line. As Mike Dods crouched down at the edge of the 6-yard box. Ballard out to Hume on the right hand side, then down the line to Barr. Barr being forced back by McNamara, finds Aushish wide on the right, into Ekwa, back to Aushish, and then rolled across to O'Nien on this left hand side in the 73rd minute now, laid off to the touchline. Clark back inside to Styles, and then to Ekwa. Ekwa finds Styles in the middle. Styles finds Elise. Elise out to Clark on the left hand side, taking it onto his right foot, trying to get away from Longman, leaves it for Styles, back to Clark just behind him. Clark forced out by Bradshaw, plays it across to Barr on the far side, looking for Aushish down the right of the penalty area. It's whipped in by Hume on his left foot, straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Huddersfield 0, Swansea 1. It's the Millwall fans you can hear now at the top of the north stand. Millwall leading 1-0. Sarkic throws the ball out into midfield. Jobe goes to close him down. Sarkic kicks away down the right, looking for Fleming. His shirt pulled right up by Luke O'Nien. It's still hooked up his back. Zian Fleming is back with Cooper. Cooper back to Sarkic. The edge of the D for Millwall, passed out again to Cooper, up to Watmore on the shoulder of on the halfway line, out to McNamara, who's lifted the ball up over the top, looking for Bradshaw, but O'Nien gets his head to it, back into the penalty area, and Patterson throws himself down onto the ball. 75th minute. Rolls it to O'Nien. O'Nien bringing it out wide left to Elise. Elise back to Luke O'Nien, short pass forwards to Clark. Clark cutting into the centre of the Sunderland half and playing it out to Hume on the far side. Hume lifting it up for Jobe to chase. A bit of a push on his back from Tanganga, who gets in front of Jobe, and the keeper comes out, falls on the ball, rolls over on it and lays on his side. Now sits up. Referees come down to, I think, quietly encourage Sarkic to get back on his feet. Takes the ball off him and then hands it back, or drops it to the feet of Sarkic, who's just trying to stretch his leg. Jobe comes to close him down. Sarkic leans over, lets Jobe come close, and then picks the ball up. The players all group on this near side in front of Neil Harris. The kick from Sarkic just outside the penalty area. headed by Ballard up towards the centre circle. McNamara heads it strongly onto Bradshaw, who tried to find Watmore, but it was cut out by Hume. Up to Aushish now on the right hand side, just inside the Millwall half. Swings it across the pitch, looking for Clark, takes it on his chest. He's going to try and slip round past Longman and past Leonard, who blocks him. Longman picks up the loose ball. Clark sits aghast, thinking he should have had a free kick. And here's O'Nien winning the ball in front of Fleming, back to Ekwa, and then to Ballard in the centre circle, laying it off to Hume. Hume, Watmore goes to close him down, flicks it on to Styles. Styles back to Ballard. Ballard across here to O'Nien. Clark closed down immediately by Denor, and a foul by Fleming and Denor. Denor goes down, sits on his backside and appears to have cramp. It's Fleming helping him stretch his leg. And they're letting the physio come on here. It's Carlisle 1, Wickham 3 in League One. I'll remind you of those numbers. Call Benno. 0800 234 6565, or you can WhatsApp a message 08000 321 333 and put BBC at the front of your message, which will start Dear Benno.
Dear Benno.
And you can text 81333 and
I'll
again
be the
put BBC.
agony aunt.
You might have to be this afternoon.
Yes.
Your 1000th game is heading in the wrong direction at this moment in time.
One to forget, that's for sure.
As Denor is getting treatment, his leg being rubbed vigorously by the physio, is helped to his feet. Has been ushered off the pitch. Pointing to the pitch side is Anthony Backhouse, the referee. Clark and O'Nien over the free kick. We're in the 79th minute. Millwall leading 1-0. The ball passed back to Ballard in the centre circle, and square left to O'Nien, out to Clark on the left-hand side. Momentarily they're down to 10 men, Millwall. Aushish tries to cross, it's stabbed behind by Tanganga. It's a 10th Sunderland corner. Aushish gets the ball, places it just on the outer edge of the quadrant on the goal line. Ekwa's jogging up towards the back of the penalty area. Aushish then with his right towards the middle of the 6-yard box, headed out comfortably by Millwall, just kept in by Aushish on the left, swung back into the penalty area, headed up again by Fleming, bounces in front of Ekwa, can't get on the end of it. Barr eventually has to play it back to Patterson in the middle of his half, and he leaves it for Hume. Hume playing it out to O'Nien on the right, just inside the Millwall half. He's played it down the right wing to Barr. Barr back to O'Nien, inside to Ballard in the centre circle, out to Hume now on this left-hand side. Hume to Styles in the middle, flicking it on to Aushish, back to Ekwa, leaving it for O'Nien on the right. Forwards, Aushish almost down to the corner, turns, pulls it back to Barr. Barr back to O'Nien, into the middle, Ballard lays it off to Hume, left side of central midfield, looking for Job's run, brings it down well with the outstretched right foot, finds Elise on the left of the penalty area, and Elise now has to pull it back to Hume. Millwall getting everybody behind the ball, and Sunderland are going to bring on Corey Evans and Mundle. So Evans, for the first time in nearly 15 months, is going to play for Sunderland after that cruise ship injury. The ball down the right of the Millwall penalty area, turned out for a throw by Tanganga, and the changes will be made now, and it's Styles coming off for Evans. And Elise is coming off for Mundle. So 10 minutes for Corey Evans. He comes on O'Nien greets him. Evans straight on to pass on instructions. Club captain now on the pitch. And this throw for Sunderland taken by Hume to Ashish. Back to Hume. Lifts the ball into the penalty area, but straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Sarkic happy to wait for everybody to head upfield. Harrogate 3, MK Dons 4. As the kick from Sarkic floats up towards Fleming, and O'Nien behind him heads it on to Ashish, who heads it on to Leonard of Millwall. In the air, drops for Watmore, but it bounces up for Ekwa to head it forwards, and then it's turned back by Denor to Tanganga. He plays it forwards, looking for Longman, but Sunderland cut it out, but then Longman wins it, and Longman then laying it off to McNamara on the left-hand side. A block by Barr. Comes back, though, into the path of Longman. Tries to get McNamara on it again, who plays it back to Cooper on the halfway line, wide on the left. Back to Tanganga, and back to the goalkeeper to kick back up into the Sunderland half, and out for a throw to Sunderland. Millwall leading 1-0 with just under 8 minutes to play.
What was the crowd?
40,000 something. 40,743, I think, which has led to a bit of mirth. That's the recorded ticket sales rather than the attendance, I think, is the way to view that. Here's Barr, lays the ball off, eventually through to O'Nien, forwards to Ashish. Ashish mundles wide of him. Ashish forced wide by Denor, who gets his foot on it and comes away with it. Playing it forwards, looking for the run of Watmore or Fleming. Fleming holds off Ballard, turns it inside, round the back of Bradshaw. Watmore's dashing after it, but the referee's blown for a foul on Fleming here on the touchline. He's pulled play back. Ballard's got embroiled in a bit of a row. Saville's gone down with cramp. So Saville now having to...
It's becoming a joke now, Dick. But saying that, they're the ones who are leading.
Yeah, well, this is what Millwall do.
Yeah.
They've got their noses in front. Duncan Watmore's goal. And now they've got a free kick just in front of Neil Harris and the Millwall technical area. Huddersfield 0, Swansea 2. And they are going to make another change. Brooke Norton-Cuffy, who's on loan from Arsenal, the right back, is going to come on, as it could be a double switch actually by Millwall. Leonard's, I think, going to take on the free kick on this right side. Hangs in the penalty area, cleared by Hume. Harrogate 3, MK Dons 5 in League 2. MK Dons pushing, of course, for promotion under Mike Williamson. As the ball comes back on halfway and back to goalkeeper Sarkic, and back again to Sarkic on the right side of his penalty area. Up to halfway, looking to get it to Longman on the right-hand side. Battles with Mundle and Ashish. Gets it out, down the right for Fleming. Back to Longman, and Fleming's caught Ballard. He's gone piling into Fleming.
He's going to get sent off.
There is going to be someone's going to go off here. Someone's going to go off. Fleming, nasty, cynical foul to start with. Ballard responded by going charging into Fleming. Now Ballard's being pushed away, held off by players. The referee is in amongst and trying to step back from the activity.
He's going to go here.
And someone's going, I'm sure, that Ballard has been pulled out next
Ballard
to...
and Fleming have been
I could see both of them going, actually.
Been at it all game, haven't they?
Yeah. So what action is the referee going to take here?
He was waiting for Fleming.
He's waiting for Fleming, who's on the touchline at the moment. He's calling him across. Fleming, I don't know what O'Neill will be saying as he walks past him. Fleming heads towards the referee, who has Ballard standing on his shoulder, and he's speaking to both of them at the moment, and it's yellow cards for both. I think they're both very lucky.
Yeah. Well done, referee. Double substitution here, is it?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Longman's coming off
Hutchinson
for Norton Cuffy. And Denor's coming off for Sean Hutchinson. The referee could quite easily have sent both of those players off.
Yeah.
They'd given him the excuse to do so, but he's shown them both yellow cards. In the 88th minute now, Millwall leading 1-0. Ball with Corey Evans in the middle of the Sunderland half. Lays it off to the right to Hume. Back it comes to Ballard. And now to Hume, out to Barr, back to Hume, and now wide to O'Neill on the left wing. Millwall leading 1-0 as we go into the final minutes of the game.
Good pass.
At the edge of the Millwall penalty. Is that a foul on Clark? He's on the floor. The referee's let play go on, and it's played forwards by Aushish down the left wing, but Norton Cuffy cuts in front of Mundell and manages to hook the ball away from the corner up towards the halfway line, and Bradshaw keeps it in. Ballard lands on his back off the pitch.
No.
And eventually he's played across into the path of McNamara. Barr's got to try and get in front of him, slips slightly, and McNamara plays it behind him to Cooper. And Cooper now down that left wing, trying to get it through to Watmore, sliding in his Barr, or Jobe. Gets the ball up eventually to Clark on the halfway line. And Clark now in the centre circle to Hume on the right-hand side, and then forwards down the right to Barr. No. Slips it into the penalty area, but straight to Ryan Leonard, who hooks this right back up into the Sunderland half. Huddersfield 0, Swansea 3. So out to O'Neill. We're in the last minute of the 90. Clark tries to slip it through to Aushish, gets it back at the corner of the penalty area, quickly out to Mundell on the left-hand side. Mundell taking on Norton Cuffy, rolls it to the back of the penalty area. Ekwa teeing up Hume, drives a shot in, and it's straight into the feet of McNamara, who clears it for Millwall up to the halfway line and back to Ballard. And Ballard now just lays it off to O'Neill. How much time are we going to get added on? There have been a few stoppages, and we're going to get 7 minutes of minimum added time. Plenty of time for Sunderland to find an equaliser. 1-0 down in added time now, and now Sheesh lays the ball off behind him to Hume. Hume into the centre circle, plenty of people leaving, there are a lot of empty seats. Here's O'Neill out wide on the left-hand side to Mundell. Mundell cutting in, playing it to Jobe. Jobe now through the middle. Aushish, little back heel for Mundell. He's tackled though, the ball, he's on the deck. The ball picked up by Leonard. Leonard skipping away and eventually tackled by Jobe. No! Oh, now Jobe's penalised. The referee's given a free kick. He appeared to get the ball, and a yellow card for Jobe.
No, I don't think that was I think that was a fair tackle.
I thought it was. I thought he got the ball. I think it's Luton 0, Brentford 5 now. And this free kick just inside the Sunderland half into the 2nd minute of the 7 being added on. Duncan Watmore's goal divides them. Is it Fleming who's coming forwards here down the right? Saville's going to take the free kick. It's just right of the centre circle, a few yards in the Sunderland half. He's played it wide to Norton Cuffy, who rolls it into the penalty. Oh, he comes off the foot of Job and somehow managed Patterson to scramble it away.
Good reaction.
Job, for a moment you could see him just heart in his mouth thinking, is that going in the bottom corner? But Patterson managed to scramble across the 6-yard box and get the ball away. And it's a throw to Millwall on the far side. So long throw, hangs in the air. Hutchinson gets under it, but it's come back out for a throw to Sunderland, this time on the right-hand side.
You need to get up there.
And goes backwards to Trey Hume in the 93rd minute now on the right-hand side. Forwards to Ekwa. Ekwa now to Evans. And now Evans to O'Nien on this left-hand side. Mundle picks it up, he's on halfway, he's on left side, he's swung it to the right-hand side, looking for Barr, who just keeps it in off his chest. And then Hume to Aushish. Swings the ball into the penalty area. Hutchinson clears it. Out to Fleming. And eventually back into the Sunderland half down the right, where it's picked up by Ballard. And Clark back to Ballard. Ballard's forwards down this right-hand side, and then Aushish drops it into the penalty area where it's Norton Cuffy easily clears this. Evans wins it off Watmore. Evans forwards again now to Clark. 94th minute. Evans on the left, just in the Millwall half, back to O'Nien. Ballard, then wide to Hume on the touchline. Slips it through to Barr, pushed out by McNamara. Barr gets the ball back again from Hume down the right of the penalty area, wins a corner. Sunderland's 11th corner of the game. Can they convert one?
Patterson's up.
Patterson's up with 3 minutes still left to play for this 11th Sunderland corner. He's at the back of the penalty area. Boom! Aushish is going to whip this in with his right foot. Nowhere near a Sunderland player. Bradshaw easily able to head it clear. Put back in by Aushish. Patterson's still up, trying to get on the end of it, and knocks it behind for a goal kick. And Cooper's trying to pull him back into the Millwall penalty area. But Patterson is jogging back up now to the Roker end, which is pretty much nearly empty.
Yeah, and the question is, has Sunderland done enough to get something out of the game?
Certainly not since Millwall scored.
Yeah, and you look at Millwall and they haven't offered much, but
no,
you knew that from the start. You'll come at the end and they say job done.
Watmore lifts one over the top, comes through to Patterson, rolled out to Evans. Evans in the middle of his half, lays it off to O'Nien now on the left-hand side. O'Nien up towards the halfway line, the 96th minute now. O'Nien back to Evans in the centre circle. Across to Hume on the far side. And now to O'Nien again. People want the ball played up forwards. So down the left to Clark. Clark trying to get it inside to Ekwa. Ekwa
this is the problem
back to O'Nien. Lifts the ball up to the edge of the penalty area. Ballard's up there, but it's headed clear. Tanganga gets it forwards, looking for Bradshaw, but Evans gets its head on it. Now Clark, Evans going through, is tripped up by Saville. There's a free kick, 25 yards out on the right side of central midfield. Cardiff 2, Southampton 1. A big blow to Southampton if Cardiff win that game. And Stoke 3, Plymouth 0. Stoke going, you'd have to argue, clear of danger now. They would be on 50 points. An opportunity here then for Sunderland to get something from this match. A free kick, 25 yards out.
Very defensive.
Clark. Equa will fancy it, won't he? Clark.
Yeah, if it's on his left foot.
There's a conversation going on between Barr, Equa, Aushish and Clark at the moment. We're in the last minute.
Thing is, they've got to work the goalkeeper. They've got to get a shot away.
Yes. So at the moment, Aushish and Equa.
I think it's going to be Equa.
Tap to Equa. Left foot drives it high over the bar.
It was never ever set right.
No.
Never ever set right.
Snapped at it.
It was a rushed free kick.
Ran onto it quickly. Snapped at it. And everyone going now.
Yeah, even the players are going.
It looks like it, doesn't it? It does look like all the players heading towards the tunnel. The ball boy has to retrieve the ball off the pitch on the far side. Sarkic retrieved the ball. And there is a distinct impression there that everyone was heading off the pitch. But there's a goal kick, everybody onto this near side. And Sarkic with the free kick, and that would be it, I think. The whistle's blown. Neil Harris comes across to Mike Dods. They shake hands, but it's a Duncan Watmore goal in the 72nd minute, the difference between the two teams.
Yeah, and you've got to say that.
Well, got to say congratulations to Millwall.
You know, and
they scored.
I think we've seen the pattern of play for a few weeks now. We do not.
I would say Millwall
go forward with any urgency at all. It's always side to side or back, and then we allow the opposition to get back. We allow them to get back in position and get their shape. And it's a case of can you break them down? And we can't break them down. You know, you look at the players that you've got, and you're thinking about the creativity, who can do it, and you're relying on maybe a Jack Clark.
It's a good job we're safe.
But then, when you have got behind them or you can break them down and the ball goes in the box, we've got nobody who's going to react. And you've seen that with Millwall, where, you know, they bring on...
Don't worry, Paul. Sorry, but congratulations, mate. Enjoy the win. Enjoy your Saturday evening. That should put you guys safe.
He's the first one to react, get his foot on it, and it's 1-0.
Thanks for popping in the chat, mate. It means a lot. It really means a lot.
Before the game as well, whoever scores first are in the box seat, and this time it was Millwall. Sure enough, they get the only goal. Had Sunderland got it, you could probably argue they may have gone on to win it.
You're welcome, Dara Kelly, mate. You're welcome.
First goal issue with Sunderland.
You're welcome, ELS, anytime. Need boom for that, says Topsy. Yeah, Kenny says Millwall.
So it's a pattern of play for me as well, Nick.
Cabby, who do you want as a striker? I'd like to go for the Blackburn chap.
We've seen at times when
Jack made fair play.
He's collected
he
the
was
ball
not
in the
much of a
box,
threat on goal today. No, not at all.
We haven't got any no player who's actually breaking the net to get forward. You know, when we do win the ball, you know, how many times do we go side to side? We don't actually go forward, do we? How many times have we played a forward pass? Not many. It's usually sideways and then back. It's too slow.
So, no clean sheet for Sunderland this afternoon. No points on the board for Sunderland this afternoon. Watford next weekend, then the final home game.
Thanks for the stream, says Flan the Bee House. Says no one likes us, we don't care. Enjoy your 3 points, mate. Whatever you're doing. Until the Hunter cannot see Sunderland winning any of their remaining games. Now to play 4 games done. I had a feeling we might win, but still a nice surprise. Of course it is, Paul. It's a nice surprise, mate, when you win, isn't it? You guys ready for the full-time socials?
And the other issue we've got, Nick, is now that, you know, they'll have on paper who they actually...
Thomas Armstrong says, we have been absolutely dreadful the moment Tony Mowbray exited the door. 1 goal in 4 games. Shocking going forward. Lee says, Dyer, Speakman got to answer for this crap show since Southampton game. All Sunderland fans deserve a full game. This is like Groundhog Day. How many times have I seen games like this at the Stadium of Light without a striker? Plenty passing and sideways and backwards, but nothing to hit the back of the onion bag. Season's over, forget it. Why is people sounding so depressed? The season's done. Time for the clear out, move over next season. And one more, how anyone can defend Speakman and the owners for that crap show I've just watched need to check up the mugger. Said they haven't got a clue, and he was right. Speakman needs to go.
Oh, they're interested in his 3 points, and that's what they've got. You know, and again, you know, they would have set themselves up and said, look, let's get 10 men behind the ball.
110 minutes of football and not a shot on target. Well, we had a couple, didn't we?
You know, break the lines or get behind you. They haven't got a striker.
The circle breaks up. Millwall, their staff and players head.
Thanks for the stream. Just come on the back, mate.
Give us a call. Give Benno a call. Cheer him up. 0800.
Thanks for the stream.
65.
Hi, Cabbie. I like that Blackburn bloke as well. Absolutely. Beer House says we are Millwall, Super Millwall. We are Millwall from the Den. Bong says thanks again, Cabbie. Really appreciate it, mate. Have a great weekend. Yeah, you too. Wake up call for next season, I hope, says Jack. Thanks for popping in. Paul, give MACKEM Cabbie a like before you go, folks. Yeah, thanks a lot for popping along, Paul. Good luck for the rest of the season. I don't think you need it. Speaking out, says David. Cheers, DJ. Appreciate what you do, fella. You're welcome, Ian, mate. Anytime. Mike Thompson says we have a young team with bags of potential, but we are going backwards. Pam T, can't go forward if we have no forwards. Steve Collins, appreciate the coverage. Millwall fan, good luck to the MACKEMs, not today though. Yep, you're welcome, Stephen, anytime, mate. Thanks for popping in and enjoy your 3 points. Mark Hill, cheers for the listen, pal. Good luck, MACKEMs, next season from South London. You're welcome, Mark. Thanks for popping in to the stream today. All away fans are welcome. You get your 3 points, you'll be singing on the way home, and rightly so. The Peckham Port, we wanted to win more than clearly. Thanks for the stream, and please go and beat Watford for next. Come on, you Lions. Yep, the Peckham Port, thank you very much. Like I say, it's banter. Away fans are always welcome in the chat. They're not being rude. They're celebrating as we would. So, yeah, see you guys later. Ta-ra. So yeah, once again, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thanks again for making it a pleasure for me to do these streams, even though there were the results. But hey, that's football. Some you win, some you lose. And that's the way it goes. Thanks very much. I'll be doing a review for the match. Tons more videos coming in the next few days. And thanks very, very much indeed. And let's hope Millwall and Sunderland can have a both better season